Live. All right. Just gotta double check the sound. Let me get this first time we're doing this here. Hold on. Get this first time we're doing this here. I gotta fix this sound, so bear with me, people. Get this first time we're doing this here. Gotta fix this sound, so bear with me, people. Hold on. Still hearing a double echo. Double echo. All right, I'm gonna test something here, and I want you guys to, because I'm hearing a double echo on my end. Just bear with me. It's my first time officially using this live stream. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna test something here, and I want you guys to, because I'm hearing a double echo on my end. Just bear with me. It's my first time officially using this live stream. All right, I'm gonna test something real quick. I want you guys to let me know if you can hear me when I do it. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Somebody type in if you could hear me. I just want to make sure I could be heard because I'm testing some sound settings here. Can somebody type in if they can hear me? All right, so the sound is good. All right, so I had to turn. All right, I see what it is. All right, cool. I just wanted to get here a little bit early. All right, so everybody can hear me. Yvette, it must be something. Yeah, it was just I had to go into the microphone settings and turn one off. Wasn't just the volume. I thought I could turn one off, but anyway. We got it, Yvette. Okay, you're good. All right, I just wanted to make sure because that was annoying. All right, so I have now set up the Zoom so we could live stream, start bringing guests back on since the old platform went away a few months ago, which was the old Google Hangouts, but this will work fine. So we're going to start using this platform. Again, I wanted to get here early just to start. One, I wanted to get this up, tested, running, and then go through a little brief introduction, the announcements, the regular. Brother Kevin will be joining us at 4:30. For those that have never or are not familiar with Gematria, he's going to have actually a full presentation, a slideshow. That's how he does his presentations. I know some of you were, if you were at the Journey of the Black Adept conference last October, you were able to be at his presentation, which I thought was one of the, in my opinion, was one of the best presentations at the conference. There was a lot of great presentations, but that was a really good one. So he's going to be here. He's got some presentations, some slideshows. I'll be able to have a couple of phone lines now open using this platform now. I'll have a few you'll be able to call in on to ask questions when we get to that point. So he will be doing a presentation, show you what the system is about. It'll also give you guys a chance to get an idea kind of what the presentations are like at the Black Adept conference, one of them. They're all slightly different because everybody has their own method of presenting. Some like to just freestyle it. Some like to have notes or a format, and some like to get real technical, like Kev. Kev likes to be a little more technical with slideshows, and then there's people like me. I just like to flow with it off the top of my head. But it is what it is. That's cool as long as the information is getting out. So he'll be joining us in about 30 minutes. Again, I just wanted to get here just to make sure I can get the sound and everything up and running, and it looks like we're good to go. So let me go through a couple quick announcements. Obviously, let me get cracking over here on Instagram. All right. So now when I bring guests on, I'll be able to live stream it from Zoom. I did also reach out to Val Cadman. I'll probably be going through, trying to go through a series of rounds, get some more guests on. After a few months, I like to bring guests back once in a while. So I've reached out to Val Cadman, waiting for him to get back to me on a date that works for him. I'm going to reach out to Dr. Bynum and some other people. I'm going to have Raven coming on also after Brother Kevin to do a show. So I'll get some people back on doing some shows here and there. Now that we have the platform to do that. All right. Let me get live on Instagram real quick. All right. That's for those watching on Instagram so they can tune in. Hang tight. We're just getting set up. Like I said, Brother Kev will be here in about 30 minutes, a little bit less. I'm gonna go through some stuff before. Just let me get live on Instagram so let Instagram people know we live. All right, so we live on Instagram. We live here, live streaming this straight from Zoom to YouTube. We'll be talking about, at 4:30, we'll be getting into the system of Gematria, what it is. I think you're gonna be real impressed when you see Kevin kind of break this stuff down and explain. I think it's pretty cool. So let me get into some quick announcements, and I'll build on a little bit so Kevin gets here. One, you've seen the fly. We've got a great show coming up next Friday night. We've incorporated a brand new segment that will be live streaming from YouTube. I'm excited about this. The idea came up from last week's show. Matter of fact, Brother Eddie Machete is here. Eddie, I'm gonna send you. I got your email. I'm gonna send you the Zoom link later in the show if you're still here. Maybe have you come on in a few minutes and kind of talk about what we're getting ready to do. Me, you, and Brother Askir. Okay. We're getting ready to do a segment that we're going to try to keep regularly on the first Friday of the month called Hip Hop and the Occult. We're going to do our first show this upcoming Friday night, not tonight, next Friday. Brother Eddie Machete, who himself has been in the music games, mainly hip hop game, DJing, making music with some, prominent, familiar old school artists artists in general, regardless if they're old school, new school. We're going to talk about various aspects of the culture, the various levels of consciousness that the culture has birthed. We're going to get into all the elements of the culture. We're going to go through, we're not going to be able to cover everything in one night. The opening show, we're kind of just going to be jumping around a little bit, giving you a taste of what we're going to talk about. But then after that, we're going to have more structured shows so we could cover all the different eras of the culture, how the culture evolved. We want to get into the historical aspect of the culture, its birth, its beginnings, how it's evolved over the years, and kind of where it is now for whatever that is, what it is. We will be more focusing on the cultural aspect of it. So we won't be really getting into, or don't really care to, a lot of the more, the music has changed, but we're going to get into all that. We're going to talk about the elements such as b-boying, breaking, DJing, MCing, and rapping, which is two different things. And then obviously we are going to go through breakdowns through, a series of shows, the different eras of the music and what that birthed and what that brought to different consciousness and levels of awareness. I'm excited about it. I know Brother Eddie Machete is, Brother Askia, he produces music. So he'll be getting into a lot of aspects of the production of the music, the creating of the music, as well as Eddie and myself. I'll probably be coming from more of an older perspective because I'm probably not up on some of the newer equipment that they're up on. So I'll put my input on that. I will actually pull out of the vault since we'll be playing some music. And actually, I talked with Brother Eddie about he's going to have his actual turntable set up. So he'll be able to do some live demonstrations, presentations. You'll kind of see it firsthand. And that's the glam. We want you guys to kind of see it firsthand. I'm going to pull out and dust off some of my music in the group that I belonged to in the 90s. I'm going to pull that out, give you guys a taste of that. I've never done that shit before. So I'll pull that out and we'll kind of talk about it. It's going to kind of be fun, but at the same time, it's going to be educational. So if you are a real hip hop head, I think you're going to really like this show. And then we'll see where it takes us. We'll let it let it expound, let it grow, and see where it takes us. So that's going to be next Friday night, 8:00. Spread the word, flyers on Instagram. I'm gonna see if I can get Brother Eddie in here. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. If he's still here towards the end of the show, we'll get him in here, give you a little preview of that. Not sure if Brother Askia will show up. If he does, I'll see if I can get him in. I'm excited about it. It's gonna be fun, but very educational at the same time. All right. Journey to Black Adept Conference. As of now, that is still on till further notice. I am requesting nobody pay or register for it yet, only because of what we got going on. I don't want to have something change and then I got to go through a whole process of refunding people money. I know some of you have reached out to me and they've emailed me and want to pay to register. I don't suggest you do that right now. Let's just wait it out a little bit more. We are starting to see a little bit of an improvement. I know they're talking about getting ready to open some stuff up in states and as well as here too, but let's just take it step by step. So please do not send me any payments for the Journey to the Black Adept Conference. Let's hold off on that till we get more closer to the date. We probably can reassess it and evaluate it better. I'm going to say late July, early August. I think we'll have a good picture, and if it's looking better, which I'm almost certain it will, then that would probably be the time to register and pay. Just as a precaution, again, I don't want you guys to send payments for that and then something changes and then it just creates more work. So let's hold off on that for right now. But as of now, it is still on the table. We are still moving forward as if that is going to happen until further notice. All right. And that's going to take place October 30th to November 1st. If you are interested in attending that event, and you would like to do a presentation on the occult or the left-hand path, shoot me an email. Let me know what it is you want to present, and space limited or space permitting, we'll see if we can get you on. We usually have room for about 10 different presentations over a 2-day period. There's usually 5 to 6 presentations. The 2 days of presentations are Friday and Saturday. So that basically takes up the whole day, about 5 of them, counting intermission for lunch. And then, you know, both evenings on Friday and Saturday night, there is a working group ritual for all of us. So we usually start around 9, try to convene around 3, 4-ish, give people time, go back to their hotel and return back to where the rituals are being performed around 7:30. So we are on a tight schedule. So we have room for about 10 presentations. So if you're interested, shoot me an email. As far as location, I have looked at 2 spots, but because of this COVID-19, still got to see how this plays out. We were looking at a spot which would give us a block discount on the hotels, and we would use the conference room every day. We'd have it both full days. The rituals would be in a separate location. We wouldn't do any rituals there, but this way everybody would be in the same hotel, and majority of the gatherings would be in the conference room, which we would have access to for the 2 full days. And again, the rituals would be off-site, where we pretty much had them last year, which is enough for room. But anyway, we'll see how that pans out, but more to come on that. Let's again wait that out. So October 30th to November 1st until further notice. If something changes, I'll keep you guys posted. The Hecate class, which is coming up on Saturday, May 9th, from 3 to 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can sign up for that class now. That is for anybody. It is $55 for that class. It is a 3.5-hour class that's live. It'll be done right here in a private Zoom session. We will be doing it right here. And you can pay for that by PayPal. Let me put in the email address, which you'll see when I edit the video. It's in all the description boxes of my videos. This is the email address. You can pay for the Hecate class using that email via PayPal. Please include in the PayPal notes your name, obviously state it's for the class, and your email address, so I can have you on the list to send you the link. So that's Saturday, May 9th, 3 to 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For Patreon members, we got 2 upcoming events for the upcoming month of May. We got our next class is May 7th. Excuse me, I got peanuts from this granola bar. Sorry. Oh, man, wrong pipe, my bad. I was eating a peanut granola bar. Peanuts got it. Anyway, on May 7th, that is our Azazel class for those that are members of the Patreon channel. The Patreon channel has also a ritual coming up. I believe it's the 23rd or the 25th. Don't quote me, but it's on the Patreon page. That is only for tier 3, tier 4, and I will be creating a tier 5 level I have not put up yet, which that gives you more access. Not only does it give you 1 reading or consultation a month, it's a one-on-one program where I kind of work with you, guiding you through your path. We have a weekly one-on-one in addition to you getting a reading or a consultation once a month if you feel you need one. But it's more of a one-on-one basis weekly, so we can actually you can look at it as kind of having a mentor, and the objective is for you to make sure you're growing on your path. So we will discuss things weekly. You'll have a one-on-one session with me weekly about your path, where you're at, what you're doing, and what maybe you need to be doing and not doing, etc. You'll have the ability to get a reading or a consultation once a month, and then it gives you all access to all the other tiers on the Patreon channel, all the classes, the rituals, and all of those things. All right. I'm going to be putting that up soon. So the classes and the rituals, you must be tier 3 on up. 1 and 2 doesn't give, I'm sorry, 2 gives you access to the classes, not the rituals. But to have access to both classes and rituals, you need to be on tier 3, 4, or 5. All right. So we have those. There's always 2 or more events every month on the Patreon, private events for members only, which are classes and rituals. I got a lot of good stuff. Prepared to be there. I'm prepared for it. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I gotta go into here real quick. Hold on. All right, hold on. Give me 1 sec. All right. Okay, so just close that down. All right. So yeah, again, for the Patreon members, you'll have access to all that. I encourage you to check out the Patreon channel. As always, I'll put that in also in the description box. Check it out when you get a chance. If you're looking, again, to take your path to another level, that's what the channel is for. So if it'll give you access to everything that I'm talking about. We've only been up and running for 3 months. We've been doing a lot of good things on there for the last few months. I know some of you in here now are members of the channel. So it's able to take it to a whole nother level. So check that out. Also, if you are interested in a spiritual reading or a consultation, shoot me an email. Let me know the days and times you are available. And as usual, the time zone that you are in. All right. I think I covered majority. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like buttons. The more likes the videos get, the more the video expands out onto YouTube and the different platforms. So please don't forget to definitely hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, hit the notification bell so you get a notification when a new video is uploaded and when I go live, such as right now. I think I covered majority of it. Oh, and yes, I appreciate it was a Sister Margarita Young that gave me a good review on the Chaos Oil. That is still available, still selling that, pumping it out. I know I hadn't promoted it in the last several weeks, but I recently reposted some promotion on that on the Instagram. So that's still available, still pumping those out. It's $20 per bottle, and that includes the shipping and the handling. And that can be paid by PayPal also. You just need to, in the PayPal notes, include your name, your physical mailing address, and your email when you make a payment for the Chaos Oil. And I've been getting different feedback on that. People are using it for rituals. I didn't really design it for that, but if it works, then that's what you're using it for. You can use it to anoint candles. You can burn it, and you can wear it as a fragrance. It's just a fragrance that I've been wearing for over 20 something plus years. Something I created back in the early 90s, and I've been told you should bottle that up and sell it. I just never got around to it, and I figured, all right, let me try it. I started it a few months back, earlier, I think at the beginning of the year, and it's selling, and it's definitely got a unique fragrance that you can't liken it to anything you probably smelled. You could probably make some similar comparisons, but it's something that again that I put together a long time ago, and I've been wearing it for the longest. So however you feel to use it ritualistically, to just wear it as a fragrance, to burn it, to anoint candles, that's entirely up to you. Knock yourself out. Do whatever your intuition tells you. And the most important thing is if it's working, guess what? It's working. And that's all that matters. All right. So I think I covered majority of everything. That's what we got going on. Again, everything I'm talking about. Remember, we are on also Instagram, Primordial Chaos 9, Primordial Chaos on Facebook. All the announcements are on there. I will be doing an Azazel class soon here. I've been getting emails to touch on that a little bit more. That'll be coming soon. I'm going to get into depth with that and kind of go over different aspects on how to connect with that Azazel energy, which is a unique experience is the best way I can describe that. That would be the best way I could describe that. All right. Other than that, we should have Kevin pulling up in 10 minutes. I hope everybody, the last thing, again, as I said, in what's going on with this COVID-19, I would just make quick addresses of it in the beginning, not to stay on it too long, not to give it life and energy. As I said, slowly but surely, we are seeing some trends of this thing peaking a bit. Doesn't necessarily mean we completely out the water. But I don't want to focus on that. I don't want to focus on how this shit was created, because that bullshit is still going on all these platforms. People still arguing. Was this genetically man-made in a laboratory? Was this, or is this being caused by the 5G ionized radio wave frequencies, which I'm not a big supporter of that. I think there's too many loops and holes in that, et cetera. That's not what's important right now. I think we should be past the stage of debating of what our opinion is on how we think this thing came about, because we'd be here all day talking. I think the more important thing is because what we do on this path, we deal with the now. We deal with what we're working with, and we're dealing with it on however you think it is. Whether this is genetically man-made, caused by the 5G, it's creating something, it's creating a cause and effect. So it is our job to be proactive in dealing with that. And I've said the simple way of dealing with that is stay in your regular routine, okay? Make sure you shouldn't be changing anything you do, just use basic common sense and be cautious. I'm saying basic common sense as far as hygiene needs, but this shouldn't instill fear to the point where it stops you living and doing what you do. You should, again, be doing stuff to assist your immune system as far as supplements, which I've increased that a little bit. I've talked about vitamin D, which at least 1,000 I use a day. Obviously vitamin C with bioflavonoids, a good probiotic, because this is also stripping a lot of our bodies, or well, what it does is strip the body of the good bacteria. You should stay away from things that create inflammation, because those are the things that assist this virus in becoming more deadly. So do your best to educate yourself on. You don't need to be a fanatic. You don't need to go nutty. Yeah, I know everybody's doing all this intense shit. They're ordering all these, there's other elderberry, grapeseed extract. All that stuff is good. But you can put too much of that shit into your body where it doesn't absorb. And if you're taking supplements and you find yourself pissing a lot, it's one of two things. One, you're either not drinking enough of water, or two, your body is not absorbing it properly. You're either taking too much, or you need to monitor how you're taking it or how you're spreading it out. So just, again, educate yourself on that. That's step one. Step two, I've been talking about, it's very important. Two other things I want to talk about real quick as we wait for Kevin to show up. Exercise and sleep, okay? Exercise and sleep. Exercise is super critical right now. As we know, even before this, exercise makes the immune system, it strengthens it. It gives it more ability to fight off diseases and illness when you are consistently exercising. And I've said, it's very simple to be creative. I know a lot of us, including myself, we were going to the gym regularly, right? And I was there 4 days a week, something I enjoyed doing. But as I said a few weeks back, when all of us started to be in this quarantine lockdown phase, I got a set of dumbbells, a medicine ball to do weights and abs, and I get my cardio by walking. Okay. So you just got to make adjustments. It shouldn't change anything you're doing. It just might change the way you do it, but it shouldn't change. So your exercise is even more critical. Just sitting around the house doing nothing 24/7, that's not good for you either. It's not only not good for you physically, it's not good for your mental health and well-being. All right. So make sure you're exercising regularly. And now you should have time for your rituals and your study. Right. It's funny how some people I used to hear bitch and moan talking about they don't have time to do everything. Now they're bitching and complaining they're bored, which I don't get. So you should be up on your studies. You should be able to get the things you may not have had time to get to before. You should be carrying out your rituals, etc. The time should be there. Now, again, I'm sure there's some of us who might be essential workers and we're still working full time. So I'm not talking to you guys, but I'm talking if you are an individual that is either laid off or working from home or furloughed or whatever, wherever how you were impacted, you should have the time to do what you need to do. Okay. So we can't use that excuse. And this is how you work your way through it, because in this period, as how the media, society, how this thing is being promoted as something impactful, negative, and devastating, in that also is some serious growth. Okay. It's some serious growth and change that's going on. There's definitely a different energy. We are definitely approaching a new phase of our existence. And I think what's happening here is nature is talking to us. I'm along the lines that, the more we are stripping, and not to sound like a fluffy bunny, but the more that we are harming nature, taking out a lot of these forests and trees, gives the ability for, whether you think it's genetically man-made or from the 5Gs, it gives the virus the ability to mutate. And I think this is nature's way of speaking to us, saying, you motherfuckers better remember, you go against nature, you will not win. And I can tell you that right now. Remember, our body is comprised of the same elements that are in creation. Our body is almost 67 to 70% of water. So is the planet. The very elements and minerals and vitamins that this planet is made up of, our body is comprised of the same thing, the micro and the macrocosm. That's real. So it's important we move in synchrony with nature and not go against it. And just my opinion, I think what a lot we have done as human beings over the last 50 to 100 years, we have used technology and greed to destroy nature. And I believe this is nature's way now of communicating to us, look, you guys better get your shit together, okay? That's just my thought. I'm not here to get into a fucking debate about it. I don't care if you agree with it or not. I don't care what books or other data you want to present. It's irrelevant. We just need to look at the situation at hand, what we're dealing with, and we just need to move forward with a solution of how we can work our way through this. Step one for ourselves, because the focus obviously first is you. Step two, then you can assist and help others and make change outside of your immediate surrounding and environments. Remember, it always starts with you. So panicking and worrying about what's going on out there and you don't have what's going on in here in order, that's what creates the confusion, the chaos, the stress, the mental illness or non-well-being, people who are struggling to deal with it. And there's going to be frustrations. And obviously there's a lot of people who are concerned about finances and money, and rightfully so. We all should be concerned about the economy. Because of how things are playing out. But at the same token, we still have to live life and move forward. And remember, if you take care of today, tomorrow takes care of itself. All right. So just make sure you're doing the things you need to do. Let me double check with, all right, we got 2 minutes. Let me make sure he's almost coming in. I know he was getting off doing something at 4:30, but he should be here shortly. And then we will get this thing. Hold on one second. All right, got him. Let me get Kevin in. All right, I got Ravens in here. I'm just waiting for Kevin, and Let me see if, real quick, Eddie, are you still in here? Hold on 1 second. Okay, Kevin's here. Hold on. Let me get Kevin in here. All right, we're ready to start. All right, I'm going to try to, Eddie, again, I'll check with you when we're done, and then we'll go from there. Brother Kev, can you hear me? Make sure your mic ain't muted. Hold on. All right, your audio is connecting. It's showing me it's connecting. All right, you're still connecting. Make sure you turn your audio on because it's saying it's connecting. I'm just going to wait. There you go. Can you hear me? Let me unmute you. Yeah, Kev, talk.
What's up, brother?
All right. You good, man? Hold on. Let me go back over here to minimize the screen. All right, people. This is Brother Kevin. Some of you, there's a few of you in here, I believe, that were at the Black. He goes by the name of Don Cost. You might see him in the chat. Good old DC. Some of you, a few of you, as I know, met him at the Journey of the Black Adept Conference 2 this past October. He did a presentation on, Kev, am I saying it right? Is it Gematria or Gematria? I always butcher that.
Yeah, like there's several pronunciations, but I call it Gematria.
Okay, Gematria. I got to change that. I think I'm missing the I in the spelling. All right, so I guess the best place to start before you get into all your presentations, and then if we have some questions, I'll let people call in and ask you questions because I know they're going to have questions because this is very interesting. Why don't you basically introduce yourself, kind of give a little bit of background, your connection, to the occult, and then maybe start with a brief breakdown of what Gematria is so people know what it is before we begin.
Okay, so just a little bit about my journey into this whole realm. As a kid, I was always interested in ancient Egypt, and I guess a very, very immature form of spirituality. And as I grew older, became a teenager, I kind of left that behind. And I was getting into sports and whatnot, and it wasn't until really 2016 that I started looking back into spirituality as a whole. I got really into religion. I was reading the Bible all the time, and I was like, wow, like Revelation is an awesome, apocrypha, and it's a bunch of stuff. I got really into Jewish mysticism as well, which is where I found Gematria. So there's a guy by the name of Derek Takori. He's a good buddy of mine. He's the one who really made me look at Gematria from a natural organic standpoint, because he's really into the conspiracy theory stuff, like he's decoding coronavirus, the whole conspiracy theory bullshit. And at the time I was really into that too, but as I evolved through that, I realized like this is a fucking waste of time, and there's really no point to spending hours and hours and hours down this rabbit hole, because let's say all that's true, so what are you going to do about it?
Exactly.
There's no point, and it doesn't help you at all. Sure, it might help you wake up, like say, hey, there's more to this world than is showing on CNN or whatever. But beyond that, it doesn't really do anything to help you. So Gematria. So of course, it's really confusing at the beginning. I was looking at a bunch of numbers and didn't know where to really go through, like a path to follow. Derek told me to start with my name, and so I started with my name. I saw that certain numbers were very prevalent. And just real quick, I don't give the numbers any meaning, because I feel like the numbers can have a meaning to like a different meaning to each person, and who is the ultimate authority to say that, hey, this number equals this such meaning and whatnot. So I don't assign any sort of meaning to the numbers. Really, all I'm looking for when I'm exploring alignments. My personal spiritual beliefs is solely based around the notion of destiny and fate. And I really feel like Gematria is able to illustrate that. My presentation is pretty much like the one I did in October at the conference. I did add some new stuff to it, but as a whole, it's pretty much the same as I did at the conference. But hopefully by October, I have a lot more happenings in my life, and I'll have it a lot more updated. But yeah, you guys will enjoy it.
All right. Cool. So again, I know in October, again, I'm not super familiar with it. I actually learned, I heard about it a few years back, but a couple of years ago when we first met, you did a presentation at a private gathering we had, which woke me up to it, and that kind of educated me and got me more familiar with it. But I thought, I mean, I think you definitely have it down to a science for sure, and the way you flow with it. So if you want to presentate, is there anything you want to do? You have access to all your controls there to share screens?
I think so. I've never used Zoom before, actually.
You should have an option on the bottom that says share screen. Does it say that I need to give you permission? It shouldn't.
I'm seeing reactions, record. Yeah, share screen. Yeah, share screen. Okay.
Yeah, so that kind of should just, whatever you got on your laptop should give you access to present it. Let me know if you got any issues, but I think you should be good.
Okay.
But again, I think when you guys see this, and there you go, and then how Kevin breaks this down is pretty cool.
Okay, and just want to comment before I go through this. I don't let this dictate my life. I've actually haven't been doing anything related to Gematria in a while. And anything new that I've added, it was stuff that I looked at, the past couple of days.
Right.
Just this my life. I live my life as organically as possible. You can't be, the guy in the basement decoding everything. Oh, that's not a way to live life. That's it's a stupid way. Okay.
Gotcha.
So letters and numbers. So as I said, Gematria, it does have roots that predate Jewish mysticism, but it was, predominantly known through Jewish mysticism. So you can see in the Bible, God for zero. Again, it states how God created the word through writing, numbers, and speech. In my personal opinion, I feel like speech is, in its own way, magic. And it's interesting because if you look at the animal kingdom, these animals, they communicate perfectly, but they've never gone to school to learn any language. But here we are, humans with even an even bigger brain and more intelligence, yet we have to go to school to learn how to communicate. So I feel like language as a whole is something that was new.
Right. And let me just say something 1 second. Again, if you guys are watching on Instagram, you're going to have to come over to the YouTube channel. You're not going to be able to see the presentation because it's only live streaming on YouTube or on Instagram too now. So again, if you need to come over to the Primordial Chaos YouTube so you can see what the actual slides that Brother Kevin is presenting. Okay, go ahead, Kev.
All right. So just a quick thing right here. So Halloween. Equals 10/31. Halloween is obviously on October 1st. The movie Murder by Numbers. So there's a 3 and there's an 8. 38 as known as being vastly connected to death, killing, rest in peace, murder, all that. And then we have smoke, which in Hebrew Gematria equals 420. Just another coincidence, I guess. And so I use 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm using 5 predominant ciphers. These are the ones that are most widely used by other people who practice Gematria. So you have English ordinal, which is A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, just very simple. Reverse ordinal, which is the same thing except reverse. So Z is 1, Y is 2. And you have Jewish. Are you able to see it on my screen? Are you seeing? Okay.
Yeah, we're seeing it.
Yeah. So Jewish is the same thing except the for reduction, it doesn't go past 9. And reverse full reduction, same thing, but it's in reverse. So very simple, but we'll see. It's very interesting. All right, here we go. So I really feel like the best way to decode your life starts with your name. So my name, Kevin Costa. This is an 18. So in numerology, you drop the zeros. So this is an 18. So this is my first and last name. My first, middle, and last name, again, another 18.
Mm,
Where I went to school, 18.
mm.
My Instagram handle, which, I made premeditation, 18. The area code where I grew up, 18. My best friend since 5th grade, 18.
Wow.
So in college, I studied religious studies, and the most influential professor was she was actually a Jain, which is it's an Indian sect. It's a really popular religion in India. So her name, 18. Where I grew up, Broward, 18.
Mm.
An ex-girlfriend, 18. My dog's name, 18. My first roommate in college, 18. And he actually showed me stocks, which is how I've been making a living for the past
So,
almost 10
so
years.
Kevin, let me ask you a quick question before you continue. Now,
Sure.
like you said in the beginning, you don't use this as a tool to dictate your life, right? Now, I
No.
know there are some people that might connect this, and there is, and you've talked about it, I'm sure you will later, how there is a connection to some extent to numerology. But from your perspective, and I'm just bringing this up, whether it's you, do you look at this as just a certain energy that's connected to you? Do you look at this kind of, again, not as a tool to dictate your life, but what significant meaning do you take from this so people can understand that outside of I don't want to present it as, like you said, the spooky, I'm going to live my entire life like an astrologist or a numerologist would. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, I feel like this might be a way of illustrating vibrational alignment.
Okay.
So maybe like as everyone saw through the slides and back in October, there's a lot of ex-girlfriend names here. Maybe there was an attraction there, like bigger vibrational alignment, and Gematria just happens to be a way of illustrating that.
Right.
I'm really not sure. There's tons of theories, and I would love to hear some of the viewers' theories as well.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it has to do with like a certain vibrational alignment.
I got you. Okay. Just wanted to be clear moving forward so people don't think we're not presenting this on that level, but go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So okay, Olivia, another ex-girlfriend. My last car was a Porsche Macan GTS, which is 18, and I just got a Dodge Charger Hellcat, which is 18. But I put the 2019 there because I made it a point to get that year and not the newest one, the 2020, because the newest one were way too expensive. But I found that very interesting. And this friend Barbara Adams, 18. And again, so you drop your zeros, and also 8 and 1. It's a reflection of 18, so that's still valid.
Right, and it's 9 too. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and so 61. So 61 itself still has tons of alignment. Okay, so again, my name, first and last, 61. Bodybuilding, it's been my favorite sport since I was like a little kid in high school. 61. My first name, 61. Fort Lauderdale. I was homeless in Fort Lauderdale back in 2016 for a couple of years. For a couple of months. So that it was 61. Very obviously a very impactful moment in my life. Derek Takori, the guy who really made me look at Gematria, 61. My cousin's name, got two 61s here. Another ex-girlfriend, another ex-girlfriend, another ex-girlfriend. Henry Bullman. So this is actually a business partner of mine right now. We are currently doing beekeeping together, and he's become sort of a mentor to me. He's 56. So yeah, so definitely a big impact on my life, and of course there's an alignment there. The address where I grew up as a kid in Broward, 61. The Hellcat that I have right now, 61. 18. I feel like 18 is the most important number in my whole.
It is. I see that.
A favorite band of mine, 46. My mom's name, 46. Again, Fort Lauderdale, 46. And Temple of Set, where I actually met Beniti, 46. And Raven. Shout out to Raven. Costa. So Costa was a okay. So Costa was a nickname that
Ken, let me
Batman.
ask you a question. Are you close to your internet connection? Because it seems like it's pausing
Spotty.
a little spotty. Like every like 20 or 30 seconds, we lose you for a brief second.
Yeah. See.
Maybe you can just get closer to it.
This better?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Okay. So Batman. Batman was my favorite movies, my favorite characters as a kid. Definitely a big influence on me. Again, 111. Laura, an ex-girlfriend, 111. The house that I grew up in high school, the address 111. And again, my cousin's name 111. And the number spelled out 111 has a 12 in it.
Right.
My birthday is May 12th, so there's a little thing there. My brother's full name 12. Where I went to high school 12. An ex-girlfriend 12. So Canior is one of 3 words that I saw in a dream. They were spread out, across 3 dreams over several years, and Canior was one of the words. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with it, but dreams and Gematria are a big aspect of my spiritual practice.
Right.
So we got Canior 12. The month I was born 12, and the next number that's coming up 72 is also 12. My full name again 72, and of course there's the 18 from before. My brother's name 72. Again, the best friend since 5th grade 72. 954 area code that I grew up in 72. Kenyor Farms. That's actually the name of our beekeeping operation. So Kenyor Farms 72. My dog's name 72, and that's a picture of her. ICP and St. Cloud Posse 72. One of my favorite bands ever. Haley Thompson, another. I think she was there earlier. Yeah, 18. Yeah, another ex-girlfriend. Carmen, ex-girlfriend 72. And again, the address that I grew up in, fully spelled out 72 in high school. And we have 13 here. Okay, so 13, I have some more current, I guess, events in my life. So I'll talk about that when I get to that. So
okay.
My mom's name again, 13. My last name, 13. Religious studies, the major I majored in college, 13. Casey, my initials, 13 and 13. Scooby-Doo, favorite show, all time, 13. Some 41. My favorite band in high school, actually it was elementary school, 13. So Rick Perard. Okay, so I mentioned that I was really into bodybuilding, and I just recently, if I want to say like earlier this year, hired a coach, and I was referred to him by this guy named Rick Perard, who works out at my gym, and he's 56, but he looks insane. Yeah, so he introduced me to this guy, and so he he's a big time influence in my life. So he's there. So Rick Perard, 13. The coach's name, Sebastian Maroli. Coach Maroli on Instagram, 13. And Dragon is the nickname that he gave me, 13. There's 2 13s actually there. It's kind of fitting, the Dragon.
Right.
So Costa, my last name, 32. And of course there was a 32 over here as well. But okay, Costa, 32. Again, my name, 1997 is the 32nd prime number. I'm sorry, it's the 302nd prime number. 302, of course, being 32.
Okay.
My cousin's, another cousin, 32. My brother's name, 32. Hertz. So I worked at Hertz as a branch manager, starting in late January until we closed down in late March. That was my first formal job. Before that, I had always been, doing my own, businesses like e-commerce and stuff like that. So that was my first job. So I found that, very impactful. So Hertz, 32.
Right.
Blink-182, another favorite band of mine, 32. And so I was engaged in 2016, and at the dissolution of that engagement, I really started looking at spirituality with a lot of curiosity. So this relationship had a huge impact on my life. It actually was like a fork in the road, and it made me look at all this not as a joke. So and also there's more alignments with her than anybody else. And I think that's for good reason, because this whole thing changed my life. Okay, so her initials CMK 18, her middle name Marie 46, Mayberry, which was her nickname when I met her. I can't see this thing in the way. Okay, 46. Her last name 61. Her first name 46. Her first and last name 13. Again, her first and last name, but spelled with two S's. 111. Her first name is spelled with one S, 61, with two S's, 13. And I guess I should mention it. So, when I was 21, I was an agent. I was basically like a porn star agent when I was 21, and
No, I'm just kidding.
and the name of the company that I met this girl with was called Hussy Models, and it was 61.
Sounds like a very reputable company.
Yeah, actually, the reason why I left was because my partner, he was stealing money, and like I was left with a bill for like $31,000, and I was like, done with this shit. So yeah. All right. So a lot like Beniti, I find movies really helpful in this whole process. Like, to me, movies help illustrate ideas that otherwise it would be impossible for me to conceptualize. So these are my favorite movies. I'm really picky with my movies, so like it's really like it's got to be a really special movie that I research it before I see it and all that. Okay, so favorite movies: Source Code, got an 18 there. Nocturnal Animals, 61. Donnie Darko, 61. Lucy, 261s. The Matrix, 46. Resident Evil, 61. Mad Max, 61. Wanted, good ass movie, 32.
That is a good movie.
Oblivion, another good movie, 46. And Red Sparrow, 61. Let me see how many numbers there are, because it might get confusing, but like there's only like I think 10 numbers total that are really predominant in my life. I'll go back and check.
Okay.
This, so like again, like I was a little apprehensive about including this, but I feel like there's some kind of connection with the circle, the Bible, and solar eclipses and all that. This can kind of leak into like conspiracy theory stuff. So I haven't really touched on this in a while, but just for shits and giggles. So there's 360 degrees in a circle. If you type out 360, you get 227. 227 gets you 3.14. And yeah, okay. And Life of Pi in the book. So the movie is based on a book that was actually released on September 11th, 2001. And in the book, he survives 227 days. So you get the pi number here, you got the 227. Coincidence? I don't know. And if you type it out, 22 divided by 7, get 314.
Well, see, that's one of the questions I'm asking you, Kev, because in certain circles of metaphysics and quantum physics, they say there's no such thing as a coincidence.
Yeah, so I don't believe in coincidences, but to each their own in the belief system.
Exactly.
Like no one's like I don't think anybody's right. I mean, like they're right in their own little world.
But I think what you said earlier is correct. I do, in my opinion, looking at this system and then hearing you talk about it now and in the past, I do think there is a vibrational alignment within the individual. I think they have a connection to the sequence of these numbers and how you're breaking it down. So, I mean, how you use it, if you're going to use it as a communication tool, but not like you say in the sense where it dictates to your life, but I do think it tells a story and helps you understand that. But I just want to, yeah,
like there are plenty of people that like they're constantly trying to decode events and their own life, and like it's nonsense because really like you lose the magic that is like life, like the surprises and just having things happen organically. You can't go off to outer space like you always say and just like it's not the way to do it.
Nah,
there has to be a happy medium, and this is just like entertainment, really. Like it makes you think like, hey, like there's something more to all this.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely don't go spend 10 hours doing this shit today. Just let it happen organically and you know, check it out later. Okay, and yeah, so got so 29.5 days, 29.5 days, 3.14, 3.14, and you know, the stuff with the Bible here. Should I keep going over this, or should I
No, it's you, man.
Okay.
Do what you want to do. Flow with it, and then
right.
when you're done, if people got questions,
Sure.
you know, I'll let them call in.
All right, so everyone knows 666. If you type out 666, you get 2083. 2083 is the 314th prime number. The moon, 283. So again, 283. And so 69 has it, like whenever you type in anything moon related, anything solar eclipse related, like you're gonna find 69 a lot. And in Matthew 27:45, there's a 6, there's a 9. Luke 23:44, another 6 and a 9. And you type out eclipse 69. If you copy and paste this entire verse of the Bible, you get 347, which is the 69th prime number. And it's a theory that Jesus Christ, you know, if he really existed, was crucified under a solar eclipse. At least that's the way it's kind of depicted
Sure.
and interpreted in the Bible. So that, I mean, like there's something there, but you know, who knows? So again, eclipse 69, 33, 12, Vesica Pisces. I'm sorry. So eclipse, this 69, 33, and 12. Circles 69, 33, and 12. And of course, an eclipse it involves 2 circles. Vesica Pisces, which is what it occurs in the process of a solar eclipse. You get 134, 53, and 190. Solar eclipse 134, 53, and 90. And here's the verse that when I saw it, I was like, oh damn, like maybe there was really a solar eclipse during the crucifixion. Mark 15:33. Again, eclipse 33. It is believed that Jesus Christ was crucified at the age of 33, and that verse, Mark 15:33, you get another 33. The phrase crucifixion of Jesus Christ, you get another 33. And for the last slide, I'm sure many of you know who Nikola Tesla is. One of his most famous quotes: "If you only knew the magnificence of the 3, 6, and 9, then you would have the key to the universe." If you copy and paste that into the calculator, the calculator is at gematrinator.com, and I'll type that out if I can in the chat or something. But yeah, so if you copy and paste that, you get the 3, the 6, and the 9. Is this what he was talking about? Maybe. I think so. But there's something up with language and numerology and just life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it, my brother.
All right, and all right, I want to stop you sharing, Kev. What books would you if somebody's interested in pursuing this or just studying it and learning about it more? Could you throw out some reference, some books that you would suggest? What's a good book that got you started on it, just so people know?
So there wasn't any actual book. It was actually so it was Derek, and so Derek is the webmaster of Gematrinator.com. So GEMATRINATOR, and on that website, he has blog posts, and just by reading his blog posts, he does talk about what he calls the organic matrix, but most of his posts are about conspiracy theory stuff, which again I don't pay attention to. But it's a good way to see how numbers line up and just like the mindset when you're doing it. And also on the website is the calculator that I used, that I screenshotted for all these slides.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do, I got a few questions for you, but I'm going to put in the call-in numbers. There's actually a couple different ones. I'm going to put in the one for New York and the East Coast. If you're on the East Coast, I'm going to put a number in there. If you want to come and call in and ask a question, you can come in and I'll go in order and prompt you. So let me just put the numbers in real quick. You'll see them in the chat. I'm getting ready to type them in the chat, and make sure based on your geographical location, that's the number that you use. Hold on, put my goddamn old man glasses on real quick. Yeah, now I got a few questions I would like to ask you, build on a few things, and some people call in, then we'll take calls.
Hit me.
Let me just put in the numbers real quick. All right, that's the number for New York and the East Coast. If you're in the Chicago area, I'm going to put in, this is the number you must call. All right, so let me put in that number real quick. And obviously you put a 1 in front of it. Hopefully you can figure that shit out. 626, I'm sorry, damn. Yeah. 312-626-6799. All right, that's the number for Chicago area. If you're on the West Coast, California, anywhere on the West Coast, this would be the number you want to call. There's actually 3. I'm not going to open all 3 of them up. We don't need to do West Coast. So depending where you're geographical, those are the 3 numbers you can call in if you got a question for Kevin. So the New York, if you're on New York or the East Coast, dial 646-558-8656. If you're in the Midwest or the Chicago area, 312-626-6799. And anybody out on the West Coast, if you want to call in, 253-215-8782. And if you would like to ask Kevin some questions on what he did so you can understand it. If you got some questions in the chat, we'll also take some questions in the chat. I'll check back and forth. I don't see anybody calling in as of yet. I'll give that a minute or two. So my question to you is, since you're not really up on the book, how did you where was it first introduced to you? Like, were you just online, or where did you first start fucking with it?
So really, so again, like I was getting, at the time I was really into the conspiracy stuff, and I came across this guy. I don't recommend him, but you know, he was part of my process. His channel name was Zachary Hubbard, and you know, he was talking about the stuff, and again, I don't recommend him. I think he's an idiot, but yeah, it was part of the process. And then so I came across his stuff, and then he mentioned the website gematrianator.com, which it made the whole calculation process much easier, because you know, before the website, it was all on paper. And then I started going on the website, and I saw that it was made by a guy named Derek DeCory.
Mm-hmm.
And Derek had like 2 blog posts about what he called the organic matrix, and I think that's a perfect name for it, organic matrix. Right. And you know, he kind of took a part of his life, or it was a happening of his life. I think it was his grandpa dying, and he you know, he kind of broke down the numerology of that. And so I took that and I applied it to my own life. Me and him went back and forth, and you know, he kind of recommended, you know, to start with my name and whatnot, and you know, just, things took off from there. I think the craziest thing, like that really blew this up for me was that Temple of Set had that 46 in it. I was like, oh shit, okay, like, and that's when I really started exploring this a lot more, you know, with names and all that.
Okay. All right, we do have a question in chat. All right, again, just to let everybody know on the Instagram, you can't see the presentation or Kevin. If you do, got to come over to the Primordial Chaos YouTube channel. There is a call-in number. You can call in if you would like to speak to Kevin and ask a question. I know you guys can't see it on the Instagram. What's up, amazing Nini? What's going on, woman? No, let me stop. So again, just to let you guys know, I know you're hearing another voice, but you can't see him. He did a presentation, unless you guys are just doing a quick check-in. So I just want to make that clear. All right, so we do have a question from the chat for you, Kevin. Is there a connection? This is from, hopefully I'm saying your name right, Azebo. Is there a relationship between sacred geometry and Gematria?
I think there is, and I think you kind of see that with the whole circle and eclipse stuff. Beyond what I showed there, I haven't explored that, but I think there definitely is, and I would definitely recommend like exploring that more.
Okay. Now, like, as far as I mean, how would you? I mean, obviously, depending on how would you give me an example for maybe somebody that, not for the person who asked the question, just but maybe somebody else that's listening. Well, give me a similarity how one could say, well, this in Gematria is very similar to such and such, for an example, in sacred geometry. Just one quick example.
Yeah, I mean, like, so like, you would kind of have to find something to compare it to, because like the whole, well, at least for me, the whole point of this is to find synchronicities, to find alignments, and so that involves at least two entities. In my case, the circle with the eclipse and the Bible, that I was able to find alignments with that. As far as like I guess like finding like an alignment with I don't know, like the flower of life or something. I'm not really sure. Like again, like you would have to find a second entity to try to find alignments with. Um, yeah, beyond that, I'm not really sure.
I got you. Okay. No, just I mean, I think, and what I do know about it, and again, I'm definitely not on the level or familiar with it like you. I mean, I do work with numbers and numerology and consultations and readings and some level of spirituality. So I do see a similarity. Like you say, you drop the zero. That's definitely for those that have done a consultation or a reading with me. I do that with the numbers that come up in the reading. And I do think there obviously is a mathematical sequence to this, but I do know there's different perspectives on what sacred geometry is. We even use that term in the Masonic Lodge, the science of sacred geometry, where we deal with angles and squares and numbers, and there's a whole science to it. So there's different perspective of it. I say that because we could be coming from a metaphysical perspective, an occult perspective. We could be coming from a Masonic or esoterical perspective, because they slightly take on different meanings. And as you said, you gave a brief example. I just also think it depends, like you said, how you decide that you want to use this. I think that's important. So yeah, let me just make sure I didn't have, hold on. Okay, I don't see. All right, so nobody calling in. All right, again, if you, I'm going to keep talking with Kevin for a little bit. Again, if you want to call in, the call-in numbers are right there on the screen. If you got a question in the chat, go ahead and type in the chat. Let me see if I didn't miss anything. Let me go up to the top. Okay, I don't see any.
Friday, everyone's out partying,
Yeah.
quarantine.
Yeah, everybody's quarantine. Fucking, if I hear that word one more time.
or social distancing.
Well, here's the other thing. I hate these fucking commercials. We're all in this together. No, motherfucker, we ain't, because it's celebrities with millions of dollars. We're not all together.
Yeah, the $100 million house.
That's just not a reality. Everybody's dealing with this on a different level. There's some people that are homeless that literally were living check to check. There's some people that got money tucked away. They're okay. There's some people who are still working. So we're not all in this together the same way. That's a bunch of bullshit. And people need to stop saying that. That's why it irks the shit out of me. I mean, and then I see, this made me laugh. I see all these big corporate execs. Like, I mean, I love baseball. I'm a huge baseball fan, but like Derek Jeter. Oh, he forego half of his salary. Oh, wow. So now he's only making what, 18 million a year? Like, well, I mean, that's cool and everything. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying that to say we're not all in this together.
Yeah, like don't act like you can relate to the common man.
Right. That's my whole point. It's different. So everybody's dealing with this on a different level. All right. So let me ask you a few more questions.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead. You got some questions?
Hey, Raven.
Hello, gentlemen.
What's going on?
I have a question for Kevin. Hey, little brother. I miss my little brother. Virtual hug.
Yeah, I miss you guys too.
I have a question. So when you, I thought about it in October, but I didn't ask. So I'm going to ask it now, because when you was going back through the slides, and it was kind of mentioned earlier, have you thought about looking at the number sets in relation to the events, i.e. 18, 61?
I guess like date wise, like looking at dates?
No, in relation to whatever event, like you saying,
oh, okay.
18, 60, 69, 34, whatever number it is. Have you gone back and look at how those particular numbers lined up with events, individuals?
I want to say yes and no. Like I haven't looked specifically into that, but you know, like, as you can see, like, you know, like for you know, just go back. So you know, like a lot of ex-girlfriend names, they're in the 18s, but then there's
Yeah,
some in the
there's a lot of
61s
them.
and the 111s and like in the 72s. So like, I don't think, you know, just 18 is, you know, is dealing with ex-girlfriend stuff or like romantic stuff. Like I don't think, you know, 72 deals with just like family stuff. I think
Okay, so let me
yeah.
bring clarity to that. I'm not speaking in just on that manner, but just in relationship to just in relation to so let's say like 18 individuals could bring about or could have brought about a certain type of experience, or the experience was brought about that particular individual a place, car, because you mentioned your two separate cars. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Have you looked at it in that manner, not just because, oh, love, hate, like, family, something like that, but how
No,
that. Mhm.
no, I haven't. And actually, that's a really interesting idea. Like I'll look into that today.
Okay, okay. Because I was just curious to see, because to me, it just feels like something about those 18s, and Brother Benini is right, and I'm with that too. Everything vibrates, and this world is numerical. I don't care what nobody say, right? So it's something about those particular individuals. I think you and I line up on the 69 or the 61. I can't remember which one it was, but it was the 6. I do remember that. What significance, or what was going on, or what can you tie in that was, because something there has to be repetitive, because that number is repetitive. Um, so that's what I was thinking. So yeah.
Yeah, no, no, I haven't, and I'm gonna look more into that today. That's a really interesting idea.
Okay, cool. Glad I had an idea. I sparked something.
All right, cool. All right, let me see. There's a question in the chat from Blair. Kind of a question comment, I guess. I'm interested to see what the COVID Gematria numbers are. Do you think they would be 20 is the question.
20?
Your thoughts on that, yeah.
So like that, so like that kind of deals with the whole like conspiracy theory stuff. And I have not looked into that, but I just typed in COVID-19 real quick, and in full reduction, which so full reduction is let me scroll down. So full reduction, so 1 second. For reduction, it's, you know, A B C D E F G, you know 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, but it doesn't go past 9. It just
Okay.
repeats itself. So COVID-19, there's a 3 and a 6 there. So I guess you can say, oh, that's a 666, you know, 3 sixes, or like 3 times 6, whatever.
Right.
I guess possibly a 666 there, and there's actually two 36s there. But I'm pretty sure that Derek, who is the webmaster of Gematrianator.com, which is the calculator I'm using, I'm pretty sure he's made a blog post about that, because he's all about the conspiracy theory stuff. So you can check that out on the website.
Okay, cool. All right, so Seth Logan typed something interested in the chat, and you thought, I guess, the numbers do match up. He has Kobe plus Bryant plus 1 plus 26 plus 20 equals 160. Helicopter plus crash, he also has added up to 160. Numbers never lie. And he says he's been working with the Gematria since 2013.
Nice.
And again, and that's interesting that, and your thoughts on this, but let me say something. It's interesting that Seth put that in there. Again, some people could look at this as, you know, I'm not saying Seth is doing that, but some people can look at this as a predictor, you know, a prediction type of tool, which, you know, I still think you can connect that to the aspect there obviously is, if we probably further looked into aspects of Kobe, that number was prevalent, which I say that because if we line up, let's say, disastrous or cataclysmic events, I guess that can be taken two ways. I think people that look at this more from a new age perspective, like I've always talked out, I mean, against astrology, as far as, remember, left-hand path astrology we use it as a learning tool, but not the tell all be all where it dictates every facet of our life. We still have the ability to change the course in certain destinies, but I do say still, there's a connection there, as you say, with I think there's a vibration. I do think that in those numbers, there's personal messages for us. So again, as you said earlier, for those that are watching or for those that might see this upload later, I think perspective has a lot to do with it. It's just a matter of your perspective, because we got to make sure we're clear on the perspectives of this we discussed, because if we're looking at it from that perspective as opposed to a way we're talking about it, it can appear to be two different ways. So I just want to put that out, but that's very interesting by Seth. Mystic Moons has a question for you. She says, I am new to the whole numerology concept. Do you incorporate it into ritual work in terms of timing or drawing in certain energies when working with demons? Do you use it? I never asked you that. That's a good question. Do you use it ritualistically, Kevin?
In a way, yeah. So like, it's pretty common, but I'll do rituals at a certain time. Depending on what it deals with. I might create a word, or I might use a word that has a certain, like a certain numerical value.
Mm-hmm.
I might choose a song that the length of the song is a certain, number. I found like a lot of songs are 3 minutes and 22 seconds.
Right.
322. And I didn't have it on my slide, but 322 is another really prevalent number. It was actually my jury duty number. That was pretty crazy when I saw that. But yeah, I do. What's cool about it is that you can customize that as much as you want to your own personal, things. That's what I love about it. It's really individualistic. Okay. So yeah, I do.
Cool. All right, what else we got here? All right, let me double check, make sure there's nobody holding on the phones. I don't see anybody on the phones. All right, so I'm gonna ask you a few more questions, Kev, and then I guess we could wrap it up. It's up to you. You got some more stuff you want to add. Let me also, very important that we discuss an aspect of when we were talking about not using this. I just want to revisit, maybe for those that kind of tuned in late. You're not presenting this, as you said, you don't use this to dictate as a deviation tool. You don't use this to chart and map every aspect of your life. So I want you to, again, to reiterate how you prefer to be more organic and natural and kind of deal with life's experience, which that's what we do in a sense as chaos magicians. It's what we do. We kind of deal with things on the fly, and I think that's very important. So reiterate again for people who joined late how you use this, and one, you're not passing this off as like some get into this, like you said earlier. Don't be getting into this for like 13 hours and getting psychotic with it, because there are some people that do, unfortunately.
Yeah. So everything you saw on my slide is in hindsight. If I meet somebody, I'm not gonna type in their name and look at their values. I have done that in the past, but it's a stupid waste of time, because if somebody has an impact on your life, or if somebody's gonna be in your life, or anything that is of value in your life, there's going to be, at least in my situation, there's going to be a numerical connection. Like so I'm seeing this girl right now, Barbara. I've been seeing her for like 2 months, right? Never once looked at the numerology until actually today, like 2 hours ago. I was like, oh shit! Like, of course there is. Like, if I've been seeing her for the past 2 months, there's gonna be a connection there. Yeah. So, don't go trying to decode your life for the future. Like, just do it. Just do it in hindsight, and don't go crazy with it. It's really, that's not what it's supposed to be done for. It's a tool, and it's a tool just to say, hey, there's more to this than I thought there was. Like maybe destiny or whatever is a thing, or
Right.
Maybe this vibrates. Maybe this illustrates vibrations. But again, like, yeah, you're not supposed to go crazy with it. But people are going to do what they want to do.
Of course. And well, that's the key. Do what you want with it. Because again, on this path, it's not, we don't get into back and forth debate, especially with a tool like this, because again, a lot of this has to deal with perspective. I do connect as far as the aspect of using this, again, obviously the similarities with numerology. And obviously some people connect some forms of numerology with astrology. We have to be careful because there are some people out here, and I've seen the videos. I've seen, and again, it's not about getting into names. That's not important. I do see people use these systems religiously, and I want to make sure we're not doing that because I see that a lot with astrology and numerology. Okay, remember, these are tools of communication. As far as this system, like Brother Kevin's talking about, I do like the way he explained how there's definitely a vibrational energy and I think a level of consciousness connected to that energy that taps you into this for sure. But with astrology and numerology and all these things, remember we can alter always and adjust the path and the destiny. There's also a form I've talked a little bit about, for an example, telepathic astrology, which when we work the left-hand path of the occult, path of self-mastery, we use it as a tool of information, meaning, let me give an example. There's some people that will get fanatical. They use this, or they use astrology. Oh, you shouldn't do this on that day or this Wednesday. Then they'll get to the point where they won't even set foot out the house or they won't eat a certain food. What I'm trying to let people understand, once you accept that as your reality, and then they say, well, you know, this number came up, I can't leave the house on the 13th of the third month. I know people that do this shit because anytime if I do, this is going to happen. Well, once you accept that as a reality, 9 out of 10 times it's going to happen. Not because some spooky mystical system gave life to it. You're giving energy and life to it. So I want to make sure, and I can't stress enough that we don't use it like that. So let me see if we have any more questions, Kev. If not, I mean, you're free to hang out. It's up to you if you got to go. Hold on, we do got some questions for you.
And just real quick, continuing what you were saying, you know, when I say like, you know, don't go crazy decoding, like you know, not going out on certain days, like I'm saying that from experience because I did that. Like I was saying, oh, like I get in accidents on this certain numerical day, you know, blah blah blah, and that's the totally wrong way to do it.
Right.
And you know, thankfully I evolved from that.
Right. This is actually an interesting question from David Hall, and I kind of see where he's going with it, but this is pretty interesting. He says, great show, fam, as always. I missed the earlier portion of the show, but the question I have is that when you have an experience, rather artificially produced through, let's say, hallucinogens, parentheses, shrooms, or deep meditation, when you are accessing your subconscious mind, you have sophisticated patterns that reveal themselves and or numbers. Not sure where I'm really going with this, but I wanted to throw it out there. Once I heard numbers actually were not invented, but actually discovered. You any experience with that, or if not with you personally, has anybody connected with it? Let's say through using hallucinogens or shrooms that you know of, or no?
No, the closest thing to that would be like those 3 words that I saw in my dream. That of course they had a numerical alignment with my with my number, like my 8 numbers or whatever they are. That's the closest I've gone to that. But I'm again, like I'm sure there's a numerical alignment in those experiences too, because they have a big impact on you. So I'm sure there is, but no, I've never used you know, psychedelics or anything like that.
Okay, but that is a good question by David. So yeah, and I've heard that concept that numbers naturally exist in the construction of nature. So again, it depends on what perspective you're coming from. All right, let me see if this again, double check the phone lines one last time. And again, is there anything you want to add, Kev? I'll let you finish. Whatever you want to say in closing, and if you want to hang around, feel free. It's up to you if you got to go. Entirely up to you. I don't see any more questions. Hold on, let me double check the chat, make sure. I don't see nobody calling on the phone. No, that's pretty much what I see for now. Okay. Okay, so I'll leave you with the final word on this, Kev, and then again, I'm going to bring in Eddie to talk about next week, but I'm going to leave you with the floor. Or anything you want to add or say in closing?
Sure. Yeah. So, you know, I'm not any sort of authority on this. I don't think anybody is.
Right.
I'm just a guy who came across this, and I've been able to illustrate alignments throughout my life. Again, the website is gematria.com. That's the website that has a calculator. GEM, GEMATRINATOR.com. Yeah, just have fun with it. Don't go crazy with it. It's a tool. It's supposed to be fun. It's not. I'm sure there's a way of using it, you know, to tell the future, but you know, don't go doing that. Like, live your life, enjoy your life organically as possible, and yeah, just have fun with it.
All right, cool. All right, so Kev, I'm going to just mute you. If you want to hang around, it's up to you. You're more than welcome to stay. If you got anything else you want to add, I'm just going to flow with it for a little bit, but feel free if you want to hang around. I'm going to leave you here. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Eddie, if you're listening, brother, call in. I mean, come in. I want to kind of talk about a few other things. So why don't you come in? I sent you the link. See if we can get you in here, brother. And so we'll wait for Eddie to arrive. And we're going to talk about, I'll leave you unmuted for a minute, Kev. So if you want to add anything. So we're going to talk about what we're going to do next week. We're going to start first Monday of the month. I'm sorry, first Friday of the month. Oh, fuck, I got Monday on my mind. We're kind of going to start this regular segment dealing with hip hop and the occult. We're going to cover all the elements. We'll see if we can get Eddie up in here in a minute. DJ Eddie Machete will be one of the regular co-hosts on this show. There'll be another brother, Askir, who produces music. So we're going to be getting into all the elements of the culture, the history of it, of different eras. We're going to talk about its impact on consciousness, how it's impacted all of us, I'm sure, to a degree, still to this day as we sit here and speak. Let me just double check. Just waiting to see if I get Eddie up in here. Eddie, I just want to make sure you're still here, brother. I sent you the email to your link. Just type in, thanks for the donation, Didi Heyman, appreciate it. Eddie, just type in and make sure you got the link. I'm just waiting for you to connect and kind of do a little preview, let the people know what we're going to be getting into next Friday. Just want to make sure you're still there. Let me reach out to him. So yeah, we're going to be, you know, it's kind of going to be an educational show, but it's going to be more, you know, we're going to have a little fun with it. We're going to be doing a little more entertaining aspect of it. I want Eddie to come in because Eddie's going to talk about kind of some of the things he's going to do on the show. And all right, Eddie's coming in now. Just give me a minute. He'll be headed in here in a minute. And me and Eddie had talked about, he's going to have his whole DJ full setup. He's going to be doing some demonstrations for you on the shows that we're going to do. So we're going to give you some examples of the culture, not just sitting around shooting the shit, talking about it. Brother Askir, who will be the other co-host, he will be talking more, you know, obviously the culture as a whole, but he'll be talking also about the production and the musical aspect of it. I want to get into depth on the instruments, the bars, how a lot of these sounds are created, how they affect us literally from a spiritual perspective, the evolution of the different drum machines they've used over the years. There's a significance in that. So we're going to get into all that on different levels, and we're going to show how the sound obviously has changed and things of that nature. We're going to talk again about all the elements, b-boying, breakdancing, DJ and MCing, all of that stuff, the history. We're going to go back to its beginnings. We'll go through, you know, the first show, we're going to be kind of just talking a little bit about everything in general, and then we'll sectionize it. All right, hold on. I got him in now. Let me get him in.
Hey, before you bring Eddie in, quick.
I bring him in, but go ahead. I had to bring him in. Go ahead. You can go ahead.
Well,
Speak.
you can bring him in. I mean, before he speaks, so just one quick one. For Kevin.
Yep.
So when he's using that Gematria, what is he using? The English alphabet Hebrew or do he use a little bit of both? I was wondering about that and I forgot to ask. Apologies.
Yeah, so I'm using English, but there is a cipher, it's based on English called the Jewish cipher. Okay, so real quick, if anybody wants to follow me. Okay, so you go to gematria.com, click on tools, go to calculator, and then go to ciphers, Jewish, and then click on Jewish. And those 5 ciphers are the same ones that I had on the second slide, or sorry, the third slide. And those are the only ones I use. And those are the only ones that are used pretty much through the entire Gematria community. So yeah, just English stuff. I've never looked into using the Jewish like Hebrew ciphers, but I should. Another good idea.
Okay, cool. Appreciate it. All right, let's bring in. Let me unmute you, brother Eddie. Hold on one sec. Go ahead, talk, brother. Make sure we can hear you good. You should be unmuted, Eddie. Go ahead.
I'm hearing Kevin speak.
Really?
You hear me?
You don't got 2 devices on, do you?
No.
That's weird. Hold on.
He must be watching
He
the
has a
YouTube.
delay. Yeah, he has a delay.
You hear me? You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you good, but you
You
don't.
hear
You're
me?
not. You don't
You hear
have
me?
the YouTube on. You're not listening through the YouTube, are you?
Wait, let me see. You hear me?
Yeah, you got to turn
You
the
hear me?
volume down on the YouTube because you're gonna hear
I'm
that.
not on YouTube.
You don't have something playing in the background, the same feed.
Nah, I'm on the phone.
Not sure. You should.
I'm on the phone.
Right. You still
So I
hearing?
do this. I'm on the phone right now.
Yeah, it's got to be something with your sound. It's definitely good on this end. Maybe it's the phone. I mean, how's it sound now off the phone?
I hear you fine. I hear you good.
All right. So it could be the headphones.
You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you good. You're good.
I don't have headphones. I took them off.
You took them off. That's what I'm saying. But
All
were
right,
you
good.
hearing?
You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you good. But were you hearing it when you had the headphones on? Is what I'm asking.
Oh, the headphones didn't work. Yeah, I took them out.
Okay, cool. All right.
I took the headphones off.
Yeah, you're good. I mean, we could hear you fine even when you had them on. So I guess it was the headphones that was probably creating. So I guess. All right. So
It
Eddie,
gave
why
me
don't
a
you
delay.
introduce?
Yep.
Why don't you introduce yourself, brother, real quick? Let everybody know your name.
Yeah, I'm Eddie Machete, originally from Brooklyn, New York. Got into this journey that I'm on, and I ended up, meeting you, and I like to just explore, see as far as I can take it.
Cool.
I've been doing music. I've been doing music my whole life since I was about 12, 13 years old. I started, got my first set of turntables, and I developed my craft. I practiced for over 20 years, and I met a few artists. Then I got into production. I made a couple beats for some artists in the game, and it's just been my passion. It's my hobby.
Cool. So Eddie, as you heard, I'm kind of throwing out there. I've been letting them know, the me, you, and brother Asker, we had got together, and we came up with this. Can't hear you. Your sound disappeared. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, we lost him. I'm not sure what happened. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't see him on the Zoom either.
Nah, it's got something with his connection. Let's wait till we get him back, and then I'll kind of run through. I kind of want him to. Oh, there we go. Oh, no. Eddie, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but we lost your connection. We don't see you on the screen, and I see you. Oh, you're gone. You're probably gonna have to reconnect. Yeah, something must have happened. Yeah, we'll see if we can get him back in. Not sure what happened. It's definitely something on his end with his connection, because everything's good on this end. I'm just double checking to make sure, but everything's good here. Internet connection straight. The Zoom room is good. Everything's good on that end. So, But yeah, I'm gonna bring Eddie back in, and again, so we're kind of gonna go through different aspects. I wanted Eddie to explain kind of. Hold on, he's coming back in now. Hold on, bringing him in now. Hang tight, he's joining. See if we can get him linked up or connected. Eddie, let me unmute you, man. I think it was your connection, brother. Hold on.
Me,
Go ahead. Can you hear me?
yeah, I hear you now. I don't know what it just shut off completely. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, man. I don't know. Maybe it's just the feed you're getting, but I mean, you're good now. So
All right,
hopefully,
good.
maybe it was the area you were standing in the house. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I
Eddie,
moved around. I moved. Yes.
yeah, you're good. So kind of what I just wanted to bring you in real quick, give people a brief preview. Where before you got dropped, I was explaining to the people, me, you, and Brother Askier, we got together last week, and we decided that we would come together and kind of do a show, on the culture, the history of it, the different aspects of it, connected to different levels of the occult and consciousness. But what I wanted to bring you in for, I know we had talked about, we'll have the ability where, you'll be able to demonstrate some of the DJ and stuff. So kind of maybe you could talk a little bit about that briefly. I wonder what you might have in store for that, or some ideas that you might have in store for that.
Yeah, I was just gonna use my setup, show the fundamentals, show what I've done, kind of give it like examples of what I've done
Right.
with my equipment and the tools that I have available. So that's pretty much it. Then I have a lot of equipment that's not set up, because I move around a lot. I've been moving. Like right now I'm in Jersey. And so like I have a setup here, I just have to put it together. It's not together yet. I have equipment like in New York, I got equipment out here, I'm at my sister's house here now. So
Right.
I have a setup here, I just got to put together. I was just trying to do it before the show, but I noticed I don't have needles. So I have to figure out what I'm gonna do with my needles for my turntable, but we'll figure it out. I mean, I got some
no
time.
big deal. I mean, if you can't get it at the first show, but the idea moving forward that we discussed, and I was explaining to the listeners, we kind of want to show people a thorough history of the culture, number one, and show people how it's evolved, how it's changed, for the good or the bad, depending on your opinion. So I kind of wanted you to introduce yourself to the people, give you, like you did. I just want people to get a brief background and kind of what we were going to get ready to do. And that's going to pop off next Friday night at 8:00. So I don't know if there's anything else. Yeah, if you want to say to the people, I just want to bring you in real quick so people, you can introduce yourself, people can see you. So if there's anything else you want to say, go ahead, man. I'll let you get a final word in real quick.
Again, yeah. Before I got cut off, like I was saying, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I started doing this when I was a young kid, and got to meet some artists that's locally from out here, and I got to work with some famous people, and it's been something that's been good for me. Like I said, it hasn't been something I've done lately, but it's my passion. I've done it my whole life, so I plan on continuing, sticking around for it. So. Like I said, I love to collaborate with other people. I love to show people what I've done, and if I can teach you or if I can influence you, that's also good. If I can learn from you, it's something always I like to keep going. So yeah, again, this just an extension now to what I've been doing. I mean, this is just I've never done it like I'm doing now with you. So this is like I'm still a little rough around the edges, but
All right.
I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate you coming in real quick. I wanted you to introduce yourself to the people. I don't think Brother Askier is available. I couldn't get a hold of him. So cool. So next Friday, we're going to have a discussion. I want to see if we can get together later, if not later tomorrow for sure. Just have another round.
Yeah, anytime. I'm always available, B. So yeah, you hit me up whenever you free, whenever you like. I'm available.
I'm definitely going to hit you guys up later and a couple, and I'm going to check with Brother Askier to see what his schedule is like. And we need to have another quick conversation. We'll do that later. But I appreciate you popping in, brother. Stopping by, and everybody going to get to know you a little bit better this Friday night, and then I'll give you a buzz later and we'll talk, all right?
Pleasure, man. Thanks so much, bro.
You
Peace.
got it. Peace. All right, Ed.
Peace.
All right.
Yep. All right.
You got it. All right, so kind of what I wanted to get into before we close this out, a couple things moving forward. Some of the stuff that I had on the agenda, the next thing, but well, first before I do that, I'm not sure if she came up with an idea that I had reached out to Raven earlier about possibly doing a show. So Raven, if you're listening, I don't know if you have a topic in mind or you still got to marinate on it for a minute or wait and see, or what's going on. Talk to us.
I still have a topic in mind, and I'll just yeah, I have a topic in mind. I just got to put it all on a, and give it to you.
All right.
Yeah, it's in essence. Oh, sorry, y'all. I'm washing. Hold on. I don't know if y'all can hear all that foolishness. Hold on. I got my whole wash going. Yeah, I just want to talk about something. I think it'll be beneficial for everybody that's walking this path to help them doing their journey. It's a lot about what I have learned, and I see the fruits of it. But I think a lot of people, when you talk about doing the groundwork, they truly don't understand what that is. They don't understand what you're talking about. They can't shut up the clutter in their mind to even think about what that is. So we've talked about it in general. I've brushed up against it in previous talks with you, but I think that's the route I want to go, because now more than ever, I think people got time on their hands. As you were saying earlier, people got time on their hands. And so if they can't during this time get their mind right, they never will. Trust when I tell you, I just feel that way. I feel it strongly. I see it in those around me. I had a friend girl post some bull crap on Facebook. Boy, that lit me on fire. That got my little blood going. But it just, yeah, I just think this is a good time, like no other, to get your mind right. In essence, you get your mind right, everything else will flow. But you got to know how to do that. You have to have a starting point. Everybody says it, but I don't think no one gives any type of helpful specifics into getting that done. So yeah, that's what I kind of want to talk about.
Well, I know me and you had a discussion, and I think this is important, and maybe we could elaborate on this a little bit. We had talked about everybody got you really, if you have an eye to see, for lack of a better word, there's really a silver lining in this, or there's things we need to look at in this that I don't think a lot of people are seeing. The downside, the things that are on the obvious, the general things that impact us, the social distancing, things being shut down for the time being. But, as you just mentioned a minute ago, and we've been talking about that, time, no better time now than, making order out of your chaos, getting your shit in order. This is a great time of reflection to really look at yourself, because now that you have the time, you should be able to really analyze certain aspects of yourself that you need to get in order. What is it you're doing and not doing right now? Talk a little bit about that, because I know we had a little discussion about that.
Well, I don't remember, because I talk all day. I don't never remember
You're
nothing.
gonna make me segue in. You can't remember. No, stop.
No,
we were just talking about.
I will say this, okay, that you got to start somewhere, and everyone thinks it's to start big, but you got to start small. You got to think about that one little something that's giving you that blockage. Something is blocking you. You need to figure out what it is. And it could be something so tiny and minute, and you don't understand that is a block, that's a judgment, that's something that's going against your will. But you got to start somewhere. And this is a good time to do it. I can't say that enough. I wish I had the time. I'm kind of envious in a little bit of people that has time to do this shit. I have to work. I work. They got us working, you know, they got us working. I'm working longer shifts than I normally work. I don't have that time, but yet again, I still find time to make sure I focus on that which is important to me.
Right.
If people can just back up from that fucking TV, if they can just take a day and just bebop and see what a lot of stuff will come to you. Trust when I tell you, because you're giving your mind some downtime and you can listen to your spirit. When you're so busy mentally, when you're so busy externally, doing nothing, not doing something productive like exercising, as Brother Benny was talking about, that's productive. That can actually stimulate you mentally. People don't understand that. But I know we was talking about that, so I don't know if that was
No,
particularly.
yeah, that's exactly, yeah, with all those
Okay.
things, you know, how, you know, how to stay productive and it's important right now more than ever to have your own. I'm not talking about somebody else's dictated routine to you, but to still have your own personal routine and devoting time to your studies, to your rituals, to all of those things. So yes, in line to all of that, if you could speak a little bit on that.
Yeah, they have to align it. I mean, God, my goodness. If I'll say this here. I was talking to my mom. My stepfather just transitioned, right? And if people sit back and I peep my mom. My mom is not on this path. She used to be an associate pastor, but she got snatched from it. Okay, her spirit snatched her from it. Y'all can call it whatever you want to call it, baby Jesus, hallelujah, whoever, snatched her from out of that church because she, like I had started to at 16, started listening to her spirit. They tell you this stuff in the Bible. Your spirit will lead you to the truth. If there's nothing no greater than that. I done sat back and peeped my mom. She's a calm person naturally, but how she handled this transition is a beast. And that tells me where she's at spiritually. You understand? It tells me how much she understands what I've been trying to get to for the last 3 years. For me to be, because I'm there with my mom. I'm there to make sure, everything's gonna be a good daughter. So anyways, I think it's more for me than it is her. Because I'm watching her movement. I'm watching how she think, process her thoughts on it. And of course, when it happened, when he finally took that last breath and found out, because she couldn't be with him because of the beverage. Yes, of course, it was that initial breakdown. My husband is gone, no longer here. But I saw her pick herself back up and even all the way the fuck out, because she understood his next level. She understood it spiritually, not in no sense of the Bible, not in no sense. She was 100% in tune. I can tell you some stuff. Them two was in tune, 100% in tune. And she's so at peace. And this only happened this month. He died at the end of March. And the 7th was his memorial service, But I just say all that to say that it doesn't make no sense to me that individuals, and I can see it. I see it on the gram. I bop in and out. I see it on the gram where individuals on this here path are not utilizing this time to elevate themselves. Again, as I stated earlier, I'm a little envious because my life has continued, still a little jacked up, right? But to have that time to really delve deep into your practices, to really get some things figured out and fix. Time is a funny thing. You can have too much of it or too little. It's all based on you and what you do with it. No one can dictate time but you. That's what I've learned.
Right.
That's what I've learned, and I'm still busy as hell. I learned that no one can dictate time but you. I won't give a Kentucky what nobody says. No one can dictate time with you, how fast it flows or how slow it goes.
Right.
100%. That is all you. And if you're trying to be the called God, goddess, then you should understand and you should know how to work and move within that realm of time. That's what I'm learning. And this is what this great gift is. I understand about the beverage. I talked to a nurse. I found out some stuff about the beverage. That woman almost had me in tears, and I don't get emotional like that, but what she was speaking resonated with my spirit. So it let me know right then and there she was speaking truth. She was speaking facts.
Right.
And she was laid back, munching on whatever the hell she was munching on, and just talking to me as if I was her best friend for 10 years. That's how comfortable she was talking to me. But there's neither here nor there. I don't know why they came up, but it did. But you guys have the time to start addressing those little nuances that's holding you back from your practice, holding your life back from it being what you want it to be. Nobody else.
That's right. Nah, that's some good points. Appreciate that. So let me let's build on this shit. And if you guys have anything you want to add, Raven or Brother Kev, let's talk about some real shit. If anything, right? I've always said this, and you can go back to a lot of my older videos. I've been saying shit before I was on YouTube, but you can find videos that I've done on here back in 2013. And I'm not saying this because I'm some fucking Nostradamus or some shit. I told you the planet is changing. I kept telling people nature is changing. I kept using terms as if we don't keep, this was symbolic terms, if we don't keep pace with the sun, nature retaliates. You can't go against nature, you don't win, okay? Well, I've always talked about the micro and the macrocosm, and I'm saying this now, part of what's going on, I'm not saying that's all of it. Part of what's going on, we're seeing a byproduct of the effects of what we have done as human beings, not only to this planet physically, but spiritually. And this has a certain degree to do with it. I just want to make that clear. I'm not saying that's it. There's a lot more things to this. What I am saying right now is some people don't, some people just don't utilize or take the time out to really see what's going on around them. And they should be looking at this, because I say that because some people don't wait till the shit comes to their back door or their front door, and they don't do anything about it. What I'm saying is we've all gotten complacent in this country and comfortable with the fact that we always take for granted everything we're doing is always going to be there. We always take for granted that tomorrow is going to come, and none of that is guaranteed. And what avoids us of getting caught up in that paradigm is dealing with the now. The only thing that matters is right now. What happened a few minutes ago, yesterday, the week before, is just a learning tool. It's a measuring tool as far as what did we get out of that? What did we learn? Tomorrow, we're not guaranteed that that's going to come in the sense of what we know as tomorrow coming. It's just a lot of people have become comfortable with the everyday routine of their lives. Now, I've always said from day one, this path is about always being prepared for change. Well, guess what? One of the many great changes is upon us right now as we speak, but it only is so burdensome and it only is impactful personally to you in a negative way if you get sucked into the constructed paradigm of it. What do I mean by the constructed paradigm of it? If you're in front of the idiot box all day, because that shit will drive you crazy, because all they're doing is repeating the same shit over and over. It's the same repetitive shit, just worded different ways. Now, I told you guys to research something, and I didn't hear really anybody get back to me on it. When you're looking at the statistics, and this is why it's important we educate ourselves and we know what we're talking about. When you look at the statistics, they always put on the screen as far as the cases, the claims on their death total. They get a majority of that from Johns Hopkins University. I told you guys, go onto the Johns Hopkins University website and read the disclaimer at the bottom. It tells you in there, these numbers are not in any way 100% accurate, right? It goes on to say a lot of these numbers take into account the presumptive cases, which cases they can't even confirm. And when you look at the ratio from the cases to the death ratio, it's completely inaccurate. And here's another thing. When you, which most people don't know, when you see, like in New York, for an example, they say 400 or 500 something people died a day, right? That's not accurate. And let me tell you why. And I'm not downplaying the severity of it. That's not what I'm saying. When you go onto that same website, it'll say sometimes when they report a number of death cases in a day, it could be over a 3-4 day period. It just, they all got reported that day, which creates the illusion that in one day, 400 to 500 people died, when in essence, that was really a 3 to 4 day period. Now, I'm not saying that that makes it better. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying, they're using all these scare and fear tactics to pump into people's minds. And again, I am not downplaying the severity of it, because the reality is we're dealing with something. That's a reality. Regardless of what anybody says, that's a reality. We can't sugarcoat that or downplay it. What I am saying, what we can do as far as how we approach this moving forward, because step one for us on this path is, what is my approach? How do I deal with this in my everyday current life moving forward to keep established what I have established and continue to grow? The worst thing you can do, like most people who are not conscious on any level, who are not on any type of path to self-mastery, who are completely in the world and their sole dependency on their existence in life, let's say, for an example, is just entertainment, worldly things, which is great. I miss that. I miss the socializing. I can't wait till the next time I'm able to safely sit down in a restaurant and grub and talk shit. You know, I enjoy those things. So I'm not like saying this in a sense, if you do things in life to enjoy that, that's a bad thing. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying, if that was your only means of gratification, it's going to be a problem for you right now. So there's two ways you can look at this, because if you're sitting around to wait for something to get back to the way it was, well, I got news for you. It's not going to happen, poof, snap of a finger. We got the green light, it's all clear. It's going to be a process, right? Get that in your mind. So we need to establish, okay, it will pass like everything else, but this is not a situation where, boom, you're going to snap your fingers. We got the green light, everything's good. Just you go back to doing things the way you were doing it. I wish I could tell you that was a reality, but it's not. It will be a gradual process, obviously. And obviously, I've been saying weeks ago, depending on where you live is gonna determine. That has a lot to do with it. Where you're at is gonna have a lot to do with it. So it'll be a gradual process. So I'm saying all that to say, what plan do you have devised personally for yourself as far as moving forward, as far as continuing to live your life and do the things you need to do? Because we can't neglect our spirituality, our physical health, and our mental well-being, which are three components that are super important on this path, okay? So obviously we have to have a plan where we're smart and we're being intelligent of what we do, using basic common sense as far as safety and hygiene, but not to the point where we're so fanatical and focused, because you become what you think. And anybody that works magic and is on this path knows, you start thinking about something long enough. Think about how many times where I've done this many times. Think about how many times you thought about something going wrong, or maybe you can reflect on a time in the past where you felt that you were ill and you started thinking about it was this and it was that, and you got yourself more sick because you activated a certain level of consciousness, which was not productive for you, that sets in emotion of fear and panic. That's my whole point.
Well,
And magic is about, say it again.
Yeah, but when we just talking about this whole gematria about vibration, so that's a thought. That thought is vibrating out there. So that's what you're gonna think fear. You're gonna bring that fearful energy to you, whatever you're fearing, and that's what it's gonna come about. It's gonna bring it next to you. Oh man, I walk these mean streets, these bearish streets, like the bearish ain't even out there. I know it's there. I'm not acting as if it's not. I know it's there, but I also know the beverage is not in my sphere. You know what I mean? It's outside of my sphere.
Exactly.
And that's how I walk. When I push forward, it push back. You know what I mean? So it keep going, it keeps falling backward as I walk forward. So it doesn't come into my, that's what we have, man, that's what you've been teaching us all this here long time.
That's right.
On YouTube. So I don't understand why they get it. And when you talk about idiot boxing, let me add this in here too, real quick. And I'll let you flow back. That includes YouTube, Sling TV, Netflix, Hulu, okay, what's some more platforms? Instagram, Facebook. Okay. Let me verbalize them out, because people just, when they hear TV, they just thinking TV. No, all of that shit is combined into that. If you're just sitting up there and watching that shit all day, you know.
Oh yeah. Your mind gets programmed. You know,
Facts.
look, it's good to have all those platforms. Look, it's about creating a harmony of entertainment. I love movies.
Facts.
But I have my days set. Really, again, my routine hasn't changed at all. It's just been adjusted the way I do it. I still get up doing my regular, like I was before, exercising. I go into my regular routine. The way I carry out the course of my day, I'm carrying out my ritualistic work, no different. I've actually had more time and I've been able to get more done. So the only thing that should be changing with us is maybe the approach and the way we're doing things. Obviously, that has to have change. That's common fucking sense. So you got to have that fine harmony. If you're just sitting around watching like movies, like, let me tell you, it's what, 6 o'clock now? My TV hasn't even been turned on yet today. Literally. My TV doesn't come on until the evening time. So I've gotten everything done with my day. I eat, I shower. That TV will probably come on about 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock. When I'm done with this, getting ready to go, that thing does not come on at all through the course of the day. Because there are this is how the mind starts to become one. If you're sitting in front of that and there are people that do that. They get up first thing in the morning, they turn the fucking TV on, they're watching same shit all day. Like I said, it is 6:01 right now. My TV, not one TV is turned on in this house. Okay? Right. That's my whole point. So it's about, I always talk about on this path is about your approach, right? I could always tell, and it's not being judgmental of people, but I could always tell when somebody's going to have issues when working magic on this path. I could just look at the way they carry themselves, their approach, the way they do things. That, when you've been around doing this shit for a while, that tells to me, it's not in a judgmental way. I'm being factual. It shows me, I could tell right out the gate, you're going to have problems. Meaning if you're sloppy, you're careless in your shit, how disciplined you are. Look, I've dealt with a lot of people over the years, just like many of you have. When I go to somebody's house for the first time, that tells me a lot about the person. If your shit is grimy, all fucked up, it tells me a lot about you. So what's going on the outside is showing me what really is going on in here. And that might sound judgmental, but it's not made as a judgmental tool, because I say that based on the principles of this path is about setting the example. How many times have you heard me say over the last several years, it's by the example you set. That's all you have to do. This path is by, if you're about it, you should be a living example of it. It doesn't mean because you know a bunch of shit or you got the lingo down, you got all the coolest sigils and pendants and you know the right things to say, or you put on this act of being so, I know fucking everything. None of that shit does not hold no weight when it's time to show and prove. And I've been saying that for years, and I think sometimes that goes over people's heads. Well, right now is the time to show and prove, because you're in a situation where you have no other option right now. This isn't about, we should be beyond the dumb shit right now, but there are people who are not. There are still platforms out there where people are still debating religion. You would think we should be past that now. People are still arguing over this COVID-19 shit. Was it created in the laboratory? Is it man-made? Is it population control? Is it the 5G technology? Well, it could well be a combination of all those things. We could be here all day talking about the problem,
but there's nobody talking about solutions. I had one dude ramble on about this. He's heavy into this 5G shit. A friend of mine, I know him. We have conversations, but we're brutally honest with each other, and it's cool. It's all love. And he went on to this whole tangent about all this documentation he pulled up. He pulled this from here. It sounds good. I mean, we have a lot of Google scholars out there. You can be a professional Google scholar. It's very easy to pull things. It sounds very convincing. And that's the beauty and the curse of technology simultaneously. All right. But after he was done rambling off all this shit that to somebody that, you know, can get mesmerized by it, my question was, and then what? So what's the solution around this? Because if you accept that theory, then we're all victims to it based on what you're saying. And I didn't get one solution.
Yeah, whenever somebody, you know, presents all this conspiracy theory stuff, I say, you know, so what? Like, what are you gonna do about it?
Right. What's the solution then? Okay, because it starts in the mind. You accept what I'm trying to, that's a good point, Kev. You start out accepting your own reality. So if it is, let's just say, and I'm just gonna throw this out there for shits and giggles, right? Let's just say it is the 5G causing this, right? And, you know, there's people saying, well, you know, the high levels of ionized radiation, you know, mutate the cells in our immune system and it secretes a fluid. And that's what the actual virus is. That sounds very convincing, very convincing. Then I could pull data and reports. And these are the same people that are using documentation from CDC websites, World Health Organization, and they're pulling and they're pulling from all these different avenues. So I could use the same resources and say, well, you know, the FDA is saying that the ionized levels of radiation in the 5G are this level and they're completely harmless, no different, quote unquote, in their reports than a Bluetooth headpiece. Go look it up. So my question is, which one are we to believe? Because we got people using the same sources. You can't use the same source you're destroying. That's been my argument from day one. And people are using the same very source they're tearing apart. So if that's the case, let's just say it is. Say we are being exposed to high levels of ionized radiation and it's causing a mutation in our cells that's secreting the fluids that create the COVID-19 virus that they're saying is in these air droplets, in coughs and these fluids. Let's just say that's the case. Then how are we to combat something we so-called can't see, right? There's only one way, doing the basics, boosting your immune system, exercising, educating yourself. See, that removes all the spooky shit. See, people want to hear this, and then you got other people turning it into a race thing. That was funny to me in the beginning, okay? Because you can go back, and if you need me to pull videos, if they didn't take them down, back in late February going into early March, you had people on certain platforms saying if you had melanin and you were black, the virus can't harm you. You guys probably seen this shit. You know I ain't lying. And I could pull some videos up and show you. This is what people were saying. Well, obviously we see that shit was not true, okay? And nobody's holding people accountable for saying dumbass shit like that. Now we see the paradigm has shifted from that to it seems to be affecting Blacks, Latinos, and other ethnicities more. And it's a simple answer for it, because most of those ethnicities that it's affecting those people are in highly populated city areas. That's it. Stop spooking the shit out. Now, if you had, and when you look at a place like New York City, it's affecting on an equal level, white, Black, Latino, Asian, Middle Eastern, you name it. It's because people, they're in a congested, populated city. Same thing here. Why is it Dade County in South Florida has the most cases? Because it is the most populated area of the state of Florida. It is the most diverse. You have Latino, Asian, Black, white, Caribbean, Middle East, you name it. So it's just use common fucking sense. So when we look at the state of Florida, Dade County is going to have the most cases, followed by Broward. And if you look at the progression, because they're the most populated counties, it's that simple. Stop turning this shit into some conspiracy theory out of your fears and insecurities. That's why people do it, because they need some type of conspiracy theory to make themselves, see, I told you. I told you. It's not that complicated. We make it more complicated than it is. And what I'm trying to get at is the great change is upon us, people. It's not coming. It's not coming next week. It's not on the horizon. It's not projected to come around this time, blah, blah, blah. Guess what, people? It is here. You're living in it. You're breathing it. You're experiencing it. So now it's what you're going to do. And it's a simple answer. It's a simple solution. It's a little more difficult carrying out consistently. And it's about doing what you do more now than ever. You should be on that ritual work. I talked about mantras, chants, and vibrations last week. The vibrational frequency and the energy from doing those in its correct harmony, pitch, and frequency can create healing energy within the body. Okay? What are you doing right now to take the initiative and the step, other than sitting around wasting your time and energy feeding into conspiracy theories? And I'm not talking at people per se in here now, I'm just speaking in general, because this is what people seem to be keeping themselves entertained with, and it's comical. Okay? It's about doing for self right now. Step one is you, because you're no good to nobody if you ain't right. Okay? We got to get that established. So what are you doing on this path right now to get your shit in order? And I've told you, I've seen, it's crazy. I mentioned this, I believe, 2 weeks ago. And Kev, you could probably attest to this because of what you got going on.
Yeah, I was going to say,
financial, I've seen in this, what people are terming a negative state, I've seen some other avenues of financial opportunity. Why don't you speak? I know you're doing. Why don't you speak on that?
Yeah, so our office is closed on March 26th, and of course, like, I'm like down about it. But then I was like, you know, fuck this, like fuck being a victim, fuck, you know, it's time to do shit. You know, I can lay in bed for the next week, and you know, cry about it, but that's not gonna do shit. I still got bills to pay.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Gotta make moves.
That's right. And you said something that's key that I want to reiterate to everybody listening. You can sit around and play the role of the victim, or, as we said, the definition of being a god or a goddess is simply being responsible, step one, and taking responsibility for your actions and what you do. So you could either become a god or a goddess in a situation like this, or you could play the role of the victim. Most people want to sit around and, oh, the government did this. Oh, Donald Trump did this. Oh, the white man is doing this. Oh, it's complete. You know, I saw a video. This was funny. Could be truth to it. Some brother, I can't recall his name right now. Because Atlanta, as you know, is catching a lot of heat for reopening some essential businesses like hair salons and barbershops that people saying they shouldn't, that even our so-called president has spoken out against. So some dude took it, I can't recall his name. Some dude took it upon himself to shoot a video and say, oh, Atlanta, and let me show you how you can mix truth and turn it into a conspiracy theory. Because what part of what he's saying has a level of truth to it, then there's a part where you could be running with it. So he says in the video that, oh, look at the first city they decided to reopen, Atlanta, the most predominantly black city in the United States. They doing that as a test run to put black people out there first as victims. This is what he said. I'm dead serious. This is the shit that I'm talking about. Now, statistically, what he was saying, Atlanta is one of the most prominent black cities, but you can take that and you can run with it, people. Because did anybody ever really do the population? It's not just Atlanta that they open it up, it's the state of Georgia. And Atlanta being one of the most populated city areas, everybody would be at risk, regardless of what percentage is this ethnicity and what percentage is that. And a lot of this has been, so he was alluding to the fact, but didn't say it. And this is where I think it goes bad. He's alluding to the fact that there's this government conspiracy, that they got together on top levels and targeted this specific area. There's no proof to that. Come on. Okay. Kev, got a question from Mystic Moon. What kind of dog you got?
He is a yellow lab.
Why
Wait a
don't you
second.
show him? Why don't you show him on the cam? There he is. We can see him. Cute dog. But yeah, we just gotta be careful we don't run with that. Here's a good comment in here from Seth Logan. The mind trumps all. Oh, let me go back up one. He says targeted individuals believe the government is torturing them. Crazy would some create for themselves. The mind trumps all. You can pay for the best this is a good statement here. You can pay for the best medical treatment, but if you don't believe it will work, it won't. That's the placebo effect, people. All within the mind. Okay. Mystic
Oh,
Moon.
you know what? Speaking of that, guess what? So you gonna read a comment from Mystic?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
No, real quick, and then I'll let you go. Yeah, Florida is not reopening all at once. They're starting phases. They're trying to do that May 1st. They're not going to be opening everything all at once. I still am along the lines. I think certain essential businesses, non-essential businesses shouldn't open up. So no, it's not. They're going to open everything at once. They're going to look at it from county to county, area to area, to determine what they will and will not open, and then gradually open some things and then see how that goes. Because here's the reality, people, real quick on that, and then we'll move on. The reality is, one, we haven't done enough of testing. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Now, the danger of getting right back out there is if there are, as they claim, a lot of people that are walking around with this for a while, asymptomatic with no symptoms. The danger is compromising people who do have medical conditions, because you could be carrying it and they say you can have it and not see a symptom at all, to having very minor. But the danger is getting back out there in public, okay? And it could cause another peak in the virus, right? Or we could have built up a certain level of immunity where we can control it. But guess what? Nobody's ever going to be completely happy. That's just the bottom line. There's going to be those that say it's too early. There's those that, oh man, we've been sitting around this bullshit, open everything up. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So all I can say is, I think, in my opinion, just in general, I do think they should gradually do it step by step. I
It's
do
economics.
think, yeah.
It's economics.
Well, of course.
That's all it is. Point
Of
blank,
course.
period. It's
Of course.
economics. They can't pay all these people to sit home.
That's right.
They don't have enough. They don't want to give the money. Not that they don't have enough. They don't want to give the money to have these people sit home. It's economics. A lot of people, a lot of businesses, it's a wrap. They're not coming back. You know what I mean? So that's the issue. Why do people think the government care about their little raggedy ass in the first goddamn place? Exactly. They ain't never cared about you in the first place. So why all of a sudden y'all, the government care, they ain't never cared about you. And they ain't gonna start now. And I don't care the CDC, nobody cares for you. Get it through your head. You are your first line of defense. Number 8.
Okay. And I heard that the unemployment claims in Florida, they've only paid 6% out.
Well, now it's up to 14. It was 6. 14.
But that's still
pathetic. Where Florida's like the only state that is way behind because they weren't prepared for this from jump. And now what most people don't know, there's an internal investigation. Apparently a couple of years ago, they were given a budget to upgrade their systems. Well, now because of this shit popping off, obviously there was some shady shit going on. People had their hands in the pot, and apparently a lot of those resources didn't go to where they were supposed to. So it's kind of fucked up. You got to find that out when something like this happens. Okay. But this, I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to say this. It's just, I want to make it clear when I say this. This is just my personal thoughts on it. I'm not telling you to accept it or not. Couldn't care if you did or you didn't. That shit is irrelevant to me. Just based on my understanding through research, 1, through 2, my personal experiences through ritual and communication with the spirit. And that's personal. So I'm not telling you to accept what I'm getting ready to say. All right. 1, I do believe this was genetically man-made and created. 2, I do believe it is a form of population control. 1, I've said before, our healthcare system has been in shambles since day 1. and the Social Security has all but disappeared. So what better way? Not saying that it's just elderly people that were passing away, but they are the most prone. And it's a way of eliminating strain on the Social Security system and our medical system. That's number one. So I do believe it is a form of population control. I do believe the overall objective and goal is to reset the currency as a whole and wipe out the national debt and its economics. And here's why I'm saying that. If you go back to all of these great pandemics, do your research, okay? If you go back to all of these pandemics, there was always a reset in the economy. The dollar was introduced after I believe was the Spanish flu. Don't quote me on that. It was after one of the great pandemics. Then you had the Hong Kong flu, right? Which that's getting into something else, which was later on. And then we had some of the recent, they weren't pandemics, but they were epidemics, such as SARS, which is a form or a strain of the coronavirus. I do believe these are all population controls. Also, another thing nobody's factoring in, the human population is outnumbering the amount of natural resources we have on this planet, water being one of them, oil, gas, okay? And anytime you want to reset an economy or stimulate an economy, you either create a war, anything that creates disaster and death. And again, I'm just speaking this because I think this needs to be shared to remove all that other nonsense. I don't want to present this as a conspiracy theory. All you got to do, and what sparked it is what Raven said, it's economics. Because here's what's going to happen, and you mind, I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to say it here. Because you ever ask yourself this? We're in such a bad situation. Where are they getting $2 trillion from? Then $250 billion for the small business. Then they just upgraded it and doubled it. Where's all this money coming from?
Printer.
Well, here it is. Look on your dollar bill. Read. Anybody have a dollar bill on them? You got a dollar bill, Raven?
Yeah.
Read what it says at the bottom of it.
Oh shoot, I burnt the bottom. That was for ritual. Hold on.
It's on the bottom of the part where it says this is a note for I want you to read that word for word.
Oh gosh.
Remember, we're critical thinkers on this.
I think I finished them all. Hold on. You know,
Hold
I be
on.
burning money around here. When I be burning real money.
Damn, Raven has it like that. She's burning money.
You don't pay for ancestral money with real money to
I
burn
don't pay
fake money to get real money? Oh, okay.
I don't pay for ancestral money. I got one. Hold on. So you're on the front, right?
It's on the front of the back where it says, this is a note for wherever that is. I can't recall. You see it? I can grab one if you don't. I just didn't feel like it.
Y'all.
All right, let me go grab one.
Treasurer of the United States, Treasurer of the United States.
This is
Washington.
illegal. You don't see where it says that on there?
Oh no, that's at the top. You got me looking at the bottom. This note is legal.
I want you to read it.
I'm trying to read it. This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. Oh no.
This is a note. It's a promissory note, people. It's just like writing the IOU. It holds no value.
Mm-hmm.
So if I say, look, I promise to give you 4 pieces of gold and a tire and a baseball bat, or I promise to give you X amount of money, it's a promissory note. It never had any value to it. Because prior to before we had what we know as the dollar bill, the $5, whatever.
We was on the gold standard.
Gold standard, gold, silver, and we bartered. That's how the economy stayed afloat. So they were telling you from day one it holds no value. How do you know that? Because the Treasury can just print up money as they need it. So if they could just print up money to create what they're calling a stimulus, why can't they print up money to knock out the national debt? I'll tell you why. Because they need mental and physical slaves to keep supporting it, because it's your belief in the value of this that keeps this shit circulating that doesn't even exist from the get-go. And let me tell you what I mean. So this is what they're getting ready to do, okay? When it's all said and done, don't be surprised if a new currency isn't instituted. And don't be surprised if everybody to the extent gets a clean slate. Your credit's wiped out, your debt is wiped out. And they say, you know what? National debt's wiped out, everybody gets a clean slate. Who are gonna be the first stupid ass fucking people to fuck that up? I'll tell you, real simple. Real simple. It's a real simple answer to this. They're going to be the smart person and the dumb fucking person. And let me explain. Let's talk with the smart person first. They're going to basically say, okay, look, I'm going to analyze how I utilize my money, where I invest it, what I spend it on, etc. Then there's going to be the dumb motherfuckers. Oh shit, I got good credit. I got money. I'm going to go buy jewelry, cars, electronics. I'm going to go party. And then these are the people, after they introduce the new form of currency, that re-stimulate the economy and start the process all over again. That's what this is about, people. It is economics. Okay? So you better have, this is what I've been saying for the last 3-4 weeks. You better have a plan moving forward out of this, because there's going to be some changes. Now, having said all that, I'm not going to be like these other people and make claims that everything I'm saying, I want you to accept as 100% fact. So let me reiterate that again. I'm not telling you to accept everything I just said as 100% pure, undiluted truth. I can't. It's just my personal understanding through the various things I mentioned earlier. So you take it for what you want. So don't be inboxing me and hitting me up. Oh, blah, blah, blah. That's not why I said it. I'm just expressing another aspect or avenue that you should take a look at this. It'll remove the spookism. It'll remove the conspiracy theory shit. Because what's that old saying? My mama used to say it. You heard a lot of elders over the years say it. At the end of the day, it's what? It's about money. And it always is. I don't care what anybody says. And I've always said from day one, this is one of the few paths that teach you the importance of financial prosperity, because you cannot do shit without money. You can talk all that kumbaya shit, all that shit, all that I'm special and spiritual. You could play all that pro-African conscious shit you want, all that stuff out the window. Without them greenbacks, you can't do shit. That's a reality. So you need to start looking in that area and see what the spirit is giving you an understanding in your ritualistic work, whether you're working with the Klepothic beings, whether you're working with the Egyptian architect, whatever it is. What understanding are you getting? And I'm not talking about your fucking experience where some being came to you and told you how special you are and you're their son or daughter. That's all superficial bullshit. That ain't coming to no higher understanding of nothing. Because if that's still happening now and it was happening then, you need to check yourself. What communications, what awareness are you getting? What understanding are you getting? And what changes are you making that it's helping you progress? If you ain't getting none of that, you ain't on this path. I don't know what path you're on. You're on some spooky shit. So I told you what I do when I get emails where people go into a tangent about some experience they had, I hit the delete button. And then again, not to sound callous, I just ain't got time for that shit. I'm not interested in how special and chosen you are. All of us are special and chosen in a certain way. All of us are unique in a certain way. I don't need to hear some individual rant about, I got a download. That's my other favorite thing I hear on all these platforms. The ancestors spoke to me. The ancestors told me the COVID. Ancestors told you everything after the fact about the COVID-19 virus, but they couldn't tell you when the motherfucker was coming though. That's the shit that I got a problem with. Everybody now is getting download from the ancestors. Everybody's a fucking expert on how it came to be and what has happened. On how it has happened. But nobody could give you nobody was tipping anybody off to when it was coming. What does that tell you again? It's a bunch of nonsense.
Bullshit.
There you go.
Bullshit.
That's it. So we need to toss all that stuff out and start doing what we need to do for self. And you have the formula. If you ain't got it by now, shadow work. But one, necromancy, ancestral work. Communicating with your bloodline ancestors is step one, because that helps you understand yourself, not worshiping them, communicating with them through veneration, acknowledgement, because it's going to open up certain levels of awareness. You will get messages. Step two, shadow work should be your next step after that. You should be doing work and rituals to what do you fear? We all have fears and probably have heightened fears in this time. What are your strengths, your weaknesses? What is traumatically impacting you to this day? How can you proceed forward on this path and do work if you don't even understand that? Where are you going? So when a person asks me this, I've already know the answer because the answer's in their question. Where do I begin? Well, if you didn't do those first two things, it shows me you haven't done any shadow work. So there's your answer. The answer's in your question. Okay. And once you have truly done a certain level of shadow work, you will easily be pointed in the direction you need to go. Oh, this is a fear I have. Oh, I need to work on this emotion. Oh, this habit or this characteristic or personality trait I have has been causing problems for me. I need to work on this. Now you have a direction, a purpose, a route to go. And then your next step is now you devise ritualistic work geared towards working on those aspects of yourself. It's not a complicated formula. I call it the ABC 1, 2, 3, because that's how simple this shit is. We make it more complicated as people because we want to make this shit sometimes more deep and complex than it actually is. We do that shit. We make, oh, you see, no, stop. It's not even that deep. But anyway, if you guys have anything you want to say in closing, I'm about to wrap this up. So if you guys want to get a last word in before we shut shop down, I'm glad we got this live streaming. So this is good now. We can use this platform now. We got it set up. I wanted to get on here a little earlier today just to make sure everything was working right. It looks like we're good to go. So we'll have more of these round table discussions moving forward. So Kev, you got a final parting word?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think the crazy thing to me about this whole thing is that it happened in a week.
That's correct.
The things fell apart in a week, and it's even not bad. It's like, you know, we still have grocery stores open and all that. Imagine if we didn't have grocery stores open. Imagine if Amazon wasn't delivering. Oof. Yeah. Yeah, got to be prepared and like I said, like, you know, now is the time to make order of your chaos. It's not to play the victim. You got to say fuck being the victim.
Because time stops for nobody. And at the end of the day, I said from day one, at the end of the day, nobody gives a shit.
Nope.
So you can sit around with your tail between your legs, crying and whining and complaining. But you bring up a good point. You know, we years ago tried part of other movements that I was part of back in the 90s. The solution to what you just said, Kevin, there's only one solution to that. And where I believe as a whole, nowhere near that level, is having your own land, growing your own food. Because if you're not set up like that, nobody's going to be prepared for that, because that will just bring in an influx of crime and robbery and stealing. Because when somebody doesn't have and somebody else does, you know what happens from that.
If you have a mortgage, you got kids to feed, you're gonna do whatever you can.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And we got to be real. We got to be real about that. But good point. Raven, any closing comments before we wrap it up?
Oh, well, just thank everybody. Thank you, Kevin. Awesome. Yet again, I gotta get, now that's what I need to find time to get into. Because every time you talk about it, I'll be like, man, I gotta get into it. I gotta do it. Because it just feels like there's something in that for me too. And I need to follow it. Just because I have an affinity when it comes to numbers, not in a numerology type of way, that kind of way, but more on the lines of Gematria. I believe that's where I would find some of the answers that I've been looking for. But I'll say this here really quick. So my mom, I said it earlier, I'm kind of hanging out at her house. She puts shungite in her water. She has been since my stepfather had dementia, and along with some other stuff. So that's what got her utilizing shungite and putting it in her water. She has a water cooler, and so that's where she puts the shungite in the filter. So I've been hanging out there, pretty much living there, and something weird happened to me this week, and it made me a believer in shungite, in correcting. I had a reset. I had an internal reset. So if you guys are wanting to add another layer to your immune boosting, and get some cellular correction done, trust me when I tell you, is good. Shungite is good. I have it around the computers, where she has it around the computers and stuff like that, but she also added in the water. That's a whole nother level of resetting. Okay, so I just thought I'll throw it out there. I'm speaking from experience.
Appreciate it. Thanks for sharing that
Thank you,
information.
Kevin.
All right. All right. Listen, I appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you for coming on and building on this today. I want to thank everybody for listening. Appreciate all you guys supporting the channel. Again, want to remind you, check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/Beniti. The email, everything I'm saying is in the description box of the videos. I actually updated that while we were live. It's in all the videos, all the contact information, the Patreon page, any classes, events, or anything we got going on, just stay posted to the Instagram page, Primordial Chaos 9. All the classes, rituals, and announcements. It's the best way. I don't do group emails anymore or any of that stuff. It's just not necessary now with those platforms. I stopped that a few months ago. So there's no need to, I know some people still send emails. Do you have a mass emailing list? I just found that didn't really work. I believe these social media platforms get the word out quicker. So I would encourage you, if you're not a member on any of the platforms, on Facebook, Primordial Chaos, Primordial Chaos 9 on Instagram, that's the best way to keep abreast of what we're doing here. And then again, if you want to take your spiritual path to the next level with the private classes and rituals, patreon.com/Beniti. Check it out. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Other than that, again, I appreciate everybody tuning in. You guys know where to contact me, reach out, and we will talk soon. Infernal blessings to all. And guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. All right.
Peace.